What's up, Bandidos? Tux has your back, covering Season 8 daily to help you milk every bit out of what this game has to offer. And today, I'm in the build laboratory, coming up with something crazy for you, Bandidos, and I need your help making it. Let's go.
Accept it, Division. This is a war you can't win.
Sweet dreams are made of this.
What's up, Bandidos? What's going on? Happy Tuesday reset day, and we're on a roll. So hopefully you guys all saw the vendor reset video I pumped out this morning. Help you guys get on to know on what's for sale, what's hot, and what's not. And just a quick heads up, there are a pair of death grips that are for sale on DZ West, so you should definitely check those out. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's make sure I'm coming in loud and clear. So mic check, 1, 2, mic check. Give me a hashtag TuxLive if you can hear the strange words that are coming out of these skeleton teeth. Also, if you like what I do and you want to support me in the Division 2 cause, please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that yet. So earlier this morning, we did a nice long live stream on Twitch, and it went really well. We were flushing through a different build, and I'm really excited to share that one later as I continue to flush it out and finalize it, and I will be creating a build video for it. So as a reminder, please follow me over on Twitch. There will be some links dropping in the chat feed along the way. So follow me on Twitch, subscribe to me over there as well if you're willing to. I'm trying to get the Twitch thing as popping as we have going on over here on YouTube. So what's on our agenda today? So we're in Tux's lab. Let's just go ahead and flip over to the lab. There we go. Now we're officially in Tux's lab. All right, so we're working on some builds. I need you guys' help to flesh them out. So these eventually will turn into build videos that I create as we kind of finalize them. So the objective is to always be iterating on the build as we kind of progress. So it's kind of like we'll go run a control point with the build, we'll decide what it's missing and what it has too much of, and then we'll try to modify the build until it's in its final sweet spot stage. And I have a few builds that I want to put together today. So depending on how well things go, then we'll be able to pump out quite a few builds. So don't be shy and pumping out some of your suggestions. It's always really helpful to get those and your perspective, as well as we'll be dropping some questions and getting your guys, pulling some feedback from you guys as well. So, but before we head out, before I jump into the build, let's just say what's up to those who have showed up nice and early. What up, Sick Jim? Thank you for being first. Back on top, Memphis, what up? Batmo Bike, glad you caught another one. Rob Young Jr., thank you for joining us. Wick the Swede, you as well. All my Bandidos, everybody in the Players Club, appreciate you guys and all your support. Ginger's Plus, what's going on? Yo, Ginger, thanks for the stars. Xander 600, let's go. Wyatt, Maniskolko, what's going on, my brother? Squad, what up, Tux Live, Tux Clan, thank you for the Tux Clans. Yeah, feel free to give us those hashtag Tux Clans if you are in a Tux Clan. Lets people know who are interested in joining the Tux Clan. Let me see if I can squeeze in the word Tux Clan one more time, Tux Clan. And yeah, so if you guys are interested in joining the clan, our clans are thriving in times where unfortunately clans are dying. So we'd love to have you if you're looking for a new clan to get associated with. What up, Monteze? Good to have you back. All right, so let's get into this. Abiko, what's up, brother? Thank you for those of you that joined me on Twitch this morning as well. Appreciate that. Okay, so the build that we're working on today is kind of a crazy one, okay? So look at this one. Look at this one. It's kind of crazy. So the idea here is to see how few skill tiers we can get away with and still feel like we have powerful skills and a powerful primary weapon or DPS, right? And so basically what I got going on here is the concept is a no skill tier skill build, okay? And so it's really sort of built off of the capacitor concept, okay? So like if you look closely, so I do this often, I kind of take a look at the stuff that the devs gave us and try to interpret what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish by giving us these pieces of equipment or pieces of gear, right? And so if you look at the capacitor, it's interesting. So it's really well balanced, right? It's an assault rifle, of course, but it comes with damage to armor and health damage for the multiplicative stats. But what's really interesting and what's appealing about it is that they give us 10% crit chance and 30% crit hit damage. I think, just off the top of my head, that is the highest crit mod on any, at least exotic weapon, any weapon really, right? I don't think there's anything out there that gives us 30% crit hit damage as a mod, any weapon out there. So yeah, so there's that, and then they give us a nice 10% weapon handling, and of course 11 more rounds. So, and you guys know the talent by now, but just to say it is what it is, it's gonna give us 60% skill damage, okay, and then it's also gonna pull 7.5% weapon damage per skill tier to the weapon. So what the weapon basically tells me is that, hey, the devs are giving us something that promotes a hybrid skill build, right? Okay, that's fair. I think we all agree with that. But what's interesting is that, you know, it's giving us 60% skill damage. Is that plus the brand talents? So we're running 2 pieces of hand of you for 10% skill damage, right? We're running combined arms for 30% skill damage, right? We're running glass cannon for 25% skill damage, amplified, of course, plus weapon damage, of course. And then we're running the Empress for skill health, skill damage, and skill efficiency. So what I'm saying here is that with the gun's 60% skill damage bonus and combined arms and all the things that I just reviewed, is that enough to make our skills really, or strong enough? Is that enough to make us feel powerful, you know, without the skill tiers? Now, one of the things you got to look at closely is that, you know, skill tiers also give us basically damage and skill health, right? That's what they're giving us. And so so the part I think we're going to be missing is the skill health, you know, so that's the part that we need to adjust. And so the question is of this build, for this build, is how many skill tiers what is the least amount of skill tiers we can get away with for this build? And that's what we're going to test out today. What's up, T Patrick? What's going on? Welcome to the stream. So yeah, so let me just flip. I'm gonna flip over here, and then let's take a look at each piece real quick, and then we're gonna test it, and then we're gonna run some tweaks. Okay, so part of the limitations, to tell you the truth, I would actually have liked to get rid of this skill tier. If I could have it my way, I'd run no skill tiers to get going. Okay, but the unfortunate part is I don't have the ideal piece to run here. Like, it would have to be a Wyvern, an Empress, or a Hannah U in order to get that to work. And I have this Hannah U piece I just got, but see, the talent doesn't line up. I need that to be a damage talent in order to get rid of the skill tier. So that doesn't line up. And I have this one. It sort of works, but I'd lose some crit chance. If I had to, I can roll to this one. So which we might do, but then we'll have that wasted slot. And when you run these hybrid builds, sometimes that every slot makes a difference. You know what I mean? So one wasted slot can throw the whole build off of tilt. So that's my theory, but we'll see. What's up, Mr. Rob? Welcome from Japan. So, okay, so our first piece of, well, actually, let's start with the backpack, because this is really our first piece. So our first piece is this Hannah U backpack, which you guys probably all have a version of this. This is the Force Multiplier, right? Named backpack. And it comes with perfect combined arms, which is an awesome talent. It gives us 30% skill damage for 3 seconds, right? So you basically, as long as you're shooting, you get that skill damage. And so that's 30% is not a little bit, okay? So that's a lot. And it came with crit chance and crit damage, so it allowed me to roll off the skill tier, which is what I'm trying to accomplish. And then I put on a crit damage mod. My second piece of Hannah is the mask. Same concept, crit chance, crit damage. I rolled off the skill tier, and then I threw on a crit chance mod. So this is giving me that 10% skill damage. So what I'm trying to do is get in all of the gear, the skill brand sets that give us skill damage. I'm trying to fit all of those in. So 2 pieces of Hannah U, 1 Wyvern, 3 Empress. Okay, So my one wyvern is the chest piece. It's giving us 10% skill damage. It's got max crits throughout, and I have glass cannon to start off with. Now this one again has a skill tier. If I had the right chest piece, I would like to get rid of that skill tier. The idea here is to see how few skill tiers we could get away with. We might just end up needing the skill tier, but I would have preferred to start off without a skill tier. Okay, my first piece of Empress International is the holster, which is all crits, and again I got rid of the skill tier. And then my knees look basically the same, all crits, no skill tier. And then the gloves for that 10% skill efficiency. So the Empress International, remember, because skill efficiency includes all of the skill attributes like skill health, status effects, skill haste, skill damage, skill duration, etc. So basically this is giving us 20% skill damage just off of this piece. It's also giving us 20% skill health, and we need that skill health because our skills take a lot of aggro. So that means they potentially get shot down a lot. So that's gonna be our problem point. Okay, so that's what we need to pay attention to. Are we skillless? Skillless. Skillless? How are we skillless? Am I saying that right? Skillless. Are we without skills? A lot during our gameplay. And then the second question begs, do we care? Do we care? Is our DPS so high that we can live without our skills frequently? You know, and is that the point of this build, right? To be able to get away with not having our skills, because the Capacitor is an amazing gun all on its own, right? It hits really, it's well balanced, I should say, because it's got the damage to armor and health damage, and then it's got these really nice crit mods for us, right? So this weapon with all of these red cores and crits is gonna feel really good. So let's look at our stats. So we're at 56% crit chance, 165% crit damage. So, and then remember, it's also picking up another 7.5% weapon damage from the skill tiers, and we have 2 of those. So, nice buffs. Plus, it's picking up glass cannon damage as well, 25% amp. So this gun is gonna hit hard. The amplified damage is sneaky, right? Because that amplified damage doesn't show up in these stats. It does not show up here. So keep that in mind. Okay, and so for defense, we don't have much, and we shouldn't have to. Remember, your skills take a lot of the aggro for you, so they kind of sort of act like a shield, right? They're like cloaking devices, so to speak. So these are our cloaking devices. Now, one thing we might look at is that if the drone is being a pain in the ass, then what we could end up looking at is taking like an oxidizer and throwing that on here instead, which I might even want to start that way, but let's keep that in mind. Let's start with this. Let's start with the setup that we have now, and then we'll switch to the oxidizer. So that's the cure, right? Like if your skills are going down a lot and you're like, the map really sucks today, by the way, really shitty map. Let's farm this control point because at least it's Empress. I like to play, you know, when I create builds like this, like I really appreciate it when the map is, when we got some nice things on the map to farm for, because then at least I'm accomplishing more than one thing at the same time. I'm creating these builds and at the same time farming for these builds or future builds, but whatever. What's going on, Live Griff? Welcome. Fat the Cat. Good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a few days. Glad to see you. Jeremy Howard coming from the Pacific Northwest. Me too, Jeremy. Have we had this talk before? I'm in Portland. Nasty, rainy Portland. So yeah, our weather, it has been crap here for the last few days. We've had some heavy winds. Let's get this show on the road. Okay. So it's kind of a crazy build, right? So again, the objective is to see how few skill tiers we can get away with and still feel like we're a heavy hitting DPS build and a heavy hitting skill build. Well, that's nice. Yeah, that felt good. That felt good. Wow. The DPS side is feeling great. Is my sound out? It sounds like the sound's out. I'm gonna have to reset my sound. Give me a quick second. I'll do that in a second here. The game sound has been acting funny today. DPS is feeling great though. Happy about the way that's coming out. Because if you got the DPS, then, you know, you really can just rely on your skills to be the aggro sucker. You know, and of course they put out damage and whatnot, but just like, haven't you ever noticed, like, you know, getting, ooh, look at that. That's crazy piece. Look at this chest piece. Skill damage, skill haste was spark. Damage enemies will give you more weapon damage when you damage them with the skill. That's a really interesting piece because of how it came God World like that. Normally I would trash that because I don't, I just haven't had luck building skill builds out of sniper rifle skill builds, but that is too attractive to trash. Let me fix my my game. Okay, is that helping my, see, is the game, there we go, game sound back, cool. So sometimes it pops out, the game sound pops out, I have to reset the sound, so sorry about that little inconvenience. Might happen again, if so, then I'll just have to do that again. It only takes a couple seconds to reset it, it's not a big deal, but it sucks when you're in the middle of a fight. But so far, excuse me. So far, the DPS is feeling great. So let's just find ourselves a good spot to post up here, and then let's. So what we want to pay attention to is skill health, and we might not get a full test in heroic. We might have to take it into legendary. You know what I mean? Because in legendary, the skills take a lot more pain. Those turrets are annoying, huh? They peck at your head from the farthest of distances, man. So it's really our drone that we got to keep an eye on. Like if the drone, you don't want it to wander too far. That'll help keep it alive too. Definitely kind of keep it on a focus firing command. You know, just like keep it on this pointed at the same target your turret is going after. By doing that, then it ensures your drone doesn't take too much damage, right? Because whatever target that it's shooting at is probably shooting back at it. And then if you eliminate that target as fast as reasonably possible, then the little drone's gonna survive more. So part of it is play, right? How you play. See, like right now, it's like it's on its half-life basically, and then it decides to do whatever it wants. So like I don't even have control over it right now. It's like doing whatever it wants, right? So it's gonna get busted out. I hate when that happens. But they do that first. I think that's their way of making sure we don't become too powerful. Let's heal up. DPS is nice though. When you have good DPS like this, allows you to play a little more aggressive as far as pushing up on the enemies. Move around a little faster. Like, look at how the turret landed. Like, it's like in the concrete. So far, so good, though. No, less skill tiers doesn't make the capacitor weak. There's just a good question. That's a really good question. The skill tiers, they just give you the opportunity to pick up a little bit of skill damage, weapon damage off of each skill tier. So it's a way to, like, for skill builds to pull in some sort of weapon damage, about half of what you would normally have. It gives you 7.5% per skill tier. But basically what we have is we're basically, crits aside, we're doubling how much weapon damage this capacitor normally has because we're using weapon damage cores instead of skill tiers. So we have twice the damage as we would if we were running skill tiers. It would be nice to have some armor on kill since we're getting a lot of killing. I mean, that's one direction we could go to. We could take out Technician and put in Gunner. That's another route if we wanted to pull in armor on kill. These guys, let me bust my skills because I ain't gonna let these guys come to us. Let them pull in a little bit. Yeah, so I'll show you what you get here. So it says for each skill tier, gain 7.5% weapon damage versus 15% if you had a weapon damage score, right? Oh, thank you. Thank you for the fire. Jesus Christ. These guys are annoying. It's annoying that they just do that perfect fire grenade right on me. So let me see. I think we're critting on the body around 400 and something. That's at distance, so we want them to pull into optimal range, but God, these enemies just do play really deep on this, huh? Jesus. Oh great, I'm gonna have to blow up my skill because it fell into concrete again. It keeps doing that today. Always, actually. I shouldn't say just today. You know when you're playing your skill and it's like inside the concrete? It's annoying because then you have to bust your skill to move it, right? It's a broken game mechanic if I've ever heard of one. So one of the things I was thinking about when I was creating this build is, you know, was that, you know, one of the struggles with creating hybrid builds is that you're always kind of fighting for the balance between your skill and your primary weapon. You're always trying to get those two things in balance. And it's really easy to get your skills to be strong, but it's hard to get your weapon to be strong on a skill build. And so I thought about, well, why don't we create a reverse skill build? So this is basically like having a reverse skill build, right? That's kind of what I'm calling it. It's like it's still got a lot of buffs, right? But we're just relying on the core buffs, right? Just what we're doing is just taking. I mean, just like I said, we're just being less reliant on skill tiers, but still, and more reliant on talents and brand set bonuses, right? So like Brand said, like Hannah you gives us skill haste and skill damage, and then we got a glass cannon talent, and we got the perfect combined arms talent, and then we got the capacitance talent. So that's what I mean by like talent. Like is that enough damage for a skill build? And if so, then that gives us a lot of room to move that damage back to our weapon. What's more effective killer, your weapon or a skill? Right? I don't know what the answer to that is. I think, there's several different ways to look at it. But what is the more effective killer, your skill or your weapons? I mean, skills don't have to reload. However, they go on cooldowns, right? Also, they can take fire and keep on shooting where you can't. So I think, you can go back and forth with each, and probably all your arguments will have merit. But I think no matter what, correct me if I'm wrong, no matter what, I don't think you can get your skill to hit as hard as your weapon. I think your weapon is always going to have higher damage numbers, right? Because you can get this thing probably to, I don't know what the highest crit is on this thing in the game, actually. I'm not sure if you can get it to the capacitor to crit at 1,000,000. I don't know. I don't know what the highest number is. Don't remember ever seeing it. So that's nice. And crit damage, headshot damage. I mean, we'll hold on to it for a second. Need lots of resources for builds. So I liked it. We might want to try taking off Technician, actually. And adding... Ooh, that's nice. So we got this one with focus. It won't work though. Because that focus won't work on our scope. Because we need an 8x scope, and this has got an ACOG, which is a 4x scope. What a shame, right? Let me get rid of these extra pieces. Is Dark Winter good? Hungry 40 is the Dark Winter, and Hunter's Fury is an absolute amazing combo. The Live Griff goes, yes it is. You should probably start there, as a matter of fact. The high RPM, it's really nice. It's really nice. The only trouble I have with the Dark Winter is that it's got a cooldown. I mean, it's got the talent on these lasts for 10 seconds, and that sounds like a long time, but I find like by the time I kill that enemy and proc it, the talent, then you have to run across the field to get to the next set of enemies. Maybe there's 2 or 3, and it's gone by that time. So that happens a lot to me. Gotta get some sleep. It's your time. You're on a different time zone over there, Mr. Rob. Just reading your comments. Yeah, the skills don't crit, unfortunately. The skills, so there's some things that you gotta keep in mind about the skills is that you'll see people wearing like Fox's Prayers and Contractor's Gloves also with their turret and drone, but these skills also don't pick up multiplicative
Gotta be
damage
handy with the steel, if you know what I mean.
So, Sean! Welcome!
You can't be any geek.
Appreciate you guys joining the club. Yeah, so like multiplicative damage, like damage to health, damage to armor, and damage to targets out of cover don't affect these particular skills. So that's confusing. So when people are running those things, they're boosting their weapon damage, but not their skills. So I think we need to actually, before we make our next change, let's go ahead and run over to District Union, because what we want to do is We want to see how fast our skills get busted out and if they're constantly getting busted out in Legendary. That's the true test. It's about the skill health, right? So because we're running those skill tiers, we lose a lot of skill health. Justin Wiles, best AR build? I would say right now, it's a 4-piece striker running the striker chest with the CTAR or the police M4. For me, it's a matter of opinion, but for me, that's overpowered and it absolutely shreds. But if you want to know what got the highest damage in the game, then it's 4-piece striker, but you're gonna run focus on your chest instead, the talent focus, and then you're gonna run the AKM, and that will with a 30x scope, and that's gonna crit at 1.45 million. So AKM, 4-piece striker with focus on your chest, the talent focus on your chest. And you can run it on a Gruppo, or you can run perfect focus if you really wanted to. Okay, so I got this equipped to Legendary. But I did that, just so you know, Justin, I compared the strongest assault rifle build in the game. And then I took out focus, put in the striker chest piece and ran it with the CTAR. And it did a way better job. Just because your handling and your accuracy as well as your RPMs are so much better than the AKM that you just cleared out Legendary checkpoints faster. So missing so many shots at the AKM just really hurts you. Okay, so again, we want to watch our skills here. Okay, so we're not going to try to complete the whole thing. We're just testing the skills duration. Basically, we want to see how fast they get busted out. So we're gonna put our skills out deeper here, and because they're deeper, that means they have a chance to get busted out faster. But either way. The sound on the game is being really choppy today. Yeah, but so this is our DPS check as well. So the tanks are the DPS check. So if you can, they try to push forward. So if you can push them back and then ultimately eliminate them quickly, then that's your DPS check. So I say if the skills can pass this test solo, then this is a very viable build. Very viable. Then what you tweak from here is going to come down to preference. What I mean by tweak, like, do you add some armor on kill? Because we're doing so much killing, it might be handy to have the armor on kill so we don't waste so many armor kits. So remember, because it's more of a DPS build than the skill build, it's a hybrid, but it leans to the DPS side of things. You want to always be shooting. You do gotta watch your ammo too, by the way, because again, it is a DPS build. I should have ran. We do shred like a motherfucker though. It would be nice to have some armor on kill, I'm not gonna lie. I hate using medkits. It slows me down. Have to stop and heal. Oh, I did not see that drone. Heal up again. Drone lady's getting frisky. Frisky, frisky. Gotta get rid of that drone lady. They're gonna pester me to hell. There we go, we got her. Oops, dropped her turret back here. That was weird. I think we got all the drone ladies. I feel like maybe there's a red one laying around somewhere. So we had to use a lot more armor kits than I like using. Like, it would be nice to have some armor and kill. So Technician could help with that. Getting rid of Technician and running Gunner instead. See, now I'm in kind of a pain in the ass spot because, and I don't have any medkits laying around. Also, we're running low on ammo too, so the Gunner would also help with that. So we might want to try Gunner and then come back. But I gotta say, our turret's holding up nicely for the amount of pain that it just took. So I would have thought it would have gone down faster. I think what's helping is that our, what do you call it? Our DPS is so nice, is working so well for the build that because we're killing them. So what's happening is the skills are taking aggro, but because we're killing them so quickly. Not bad. Deconstructed though. Because we're killing them so quickly, they're not allowed to take enough damage to our skills. That is when we have ammo, of course. If you can stay a little more disciplined too, though, then you're probably better off. And what I mean discipline is like try not to shoot targets that are too far away. Play within your optimal range. There we go. And use more yellows? Yeah, I don't know if I need more yellows though. I like your, I'm looking at your comment, Scribes. Try switching handing you backpack for vigilance. Oh, I see what you're saying. 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 That's smart. That might be pretty smart. Let me come back to that comment. I think I might like where your head's at. See, it's not a bad thing to have to switch to your pistol either, because we'll get more crit chance. The pistol I'm using gives you more crit chance. So there we go. So I think, I mean, so it passed my test. That's my test. That's the test that I use on every build that I create. For you guys is that, you know, DPS check it, and then do you have the survivability to clear that first wave? So, but one thing I did note, so it is a problem to run out of ammo in a solo legendary situation. So we'd want to look at, there's several ways to cure that. One is, you know, by bringing more power to your skills, then you could potentially do less shooting with your gun, but because you're running combined arms, that's asking you to do a lot of shooting, right? You need to shoot basically constantly in order for perfect combined arms to be always going. And same with glass cannon. I mean, it's sort of asking you to do that. Plus, you got to maintain your stacks and your capacitance talent as well. So, but I like what Scribes is saying. He's like, I mean, it's a different way of thinking about it. So if you look at Scribes' comment there, let me pull it up there. Pulling this comment up. So, like, if you look at Scribes' comment, he says, what's going on, Jaco? Good to have you, man. he's saying that if you switch the Hannah U backpack for Fenris backpack and then put vigilance on it, you see what ends up happening is you lose a 30% skill damage from perfect combined arms, but he's saying we'll make up for that with some skill tiers, right? Because each skill tier gives us what? Let's see, a skill tier gives us 20% skill damage. So by adding 2 skill, you basically have to add 2 skill tiers. Now I think the only thing I would adjust to Scribe's comment was I don't think I'd run a Fenris backpack. One quick change that we could make would be to actually go with the memento, right? Because the memento is going to give us 30% weapon damage and 30% skill efficiency. So it's basically going to be combined arms with vigilance. Now, of course, you got to get both you got to get your stacks to get there, but it gets there. And then it's also going to give us 3% armor regen. So actually, I think the fix to this build is the memento all the way, because it's going to give us a skill tier, which is a bonus. It's going to give us 30% skill efficiency, which is big, huge. That's combined arms and even more. And then it's going to give us 30% weapon damage. It's also going to give us an armor core, and then it's going to give us a 3% armor regen. Remember when I was complaining about, oh man, I wish we had some armor on kill? Well, if we had 30% armor regen, then we wouldn't need that 3% armor on kill, right? But if I did that, you see, I'm going to be breaking my 2-piece Hannah combo. So we're going to have to make some build changes. So let's go ahead and do that. So I don't really like to run Hannah U on ballistic skill builds. I don't like to run skill haste on ballistic skill builds. I feel like it's kind of a waste because most the ballistic skills usually come back in about 20 to 24 seconds, somewhere in that range, depending on how much skill efficiency you have. So, and plus we get all that skill efficiency, which is just gonna lower that. So I feel like it's a waste to actually run skill haste on these types of skill builds. So if I take away the 2-piece Hannah combo, then I need to take away Hannah altogether, and then find a way to move Wyvern and the Empress Guard, I guess. So we got to move a couple of things around. So we'll see if we can do that. But I think the fix is to actually pull in the memento. I think that's the fix here. So that's going to solve the problems that we're talking about. That should also solve the ammo problems, because every time we pick up a trophy, that's going to put basically our weapons. So we got, look at all the red cores, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red cores now. So every time we pick up a trophy, we're going to pick up 25% more weapon damage for 10 seconds. So because we're putting out more damage for that 10 seconds, that means we're using less ammo for that 10 seconds. Does that make sense? And then, of course, we're going to get another 30% damage when we got weapon damage when we got the full stack. So again, that's going to save us more ammo. So that should help with our ammo situation. Now, we don't have armor on kill yet, so we're going to have to look at that. And we did lose some crits, so we're going to have to pull in some more crit chance here. Where before I had a crit damage mod. So we're at 57, 141, so that's a good place to be. So now I got to get rid of this Hannah piece, right? The problem is that we've already used up our 3 pieces of Empress and our 1 piece of Wyvern. So the question is, what do we run there? We might be back with Scribe's suggestion of, running like a Fenris piece. That's what I'm looking for. Let me see if I got a Fenris piece. Or I could also bring in that 10% armor on kill that we were talking about too. Let me do that first. Let me look at that first, actually. So I'm gonna run this, okay? But I'm gonna take off that skill tier, and then I'm gonna because you don't want to make too many changes. So then I'm gonna move this to my 3rd piece of Empress. So Empress, if you either go all in on Air Empress or don't use it at all. That's my recommendation. You either run 3-piece Empress or 0 Empress. So So let's see where we are. So we're at 53, 132. So we lost a little bit of crit chance and crit damage. But we're exchanging that for skill damage and armor on kill. So what I'm going to do is put on some weapon damage there. So we're down to just 1 armor core. I might not like this. I might not like having armor on kill on a build that doesn't have a heck of a lot of armor. But that might just help kind of our armor regen, so to speak. The other way we could do this is actually run the Murakami and boost our armor regen. That might be smarter, is to run something. We're getting a lot of kills though, so I feel like this is probably a good change. But I do have some Murakami knee pads. Let's see with the crits on them as well. See that? So we got that Murakami right there. That's nice. Actually, that would work really well, wouldn't it? Because it's bringing our crits back, but we're also getting more skill duration out of our skills too, which is not like we were having. They were usually getting shot out before they expired, but I'll bring those along for now. Okay, so that, yeah, we don't want to make too many changes, then it'll be hard to evaluate. So basically, I moved the third piece Empress from here, from the gloves, I moved it to the mask. It's the same setup, they're all crits. And so I got rid of that hand of use. So we lost our skill haste, and then we put on the memento backpack. And so we lost combined arms, but we're gonna get all of that stuff back. Plus a bunch more that I just discussed. And then I'm giving us some 10% armor on kill on top of that, with this red, white, and this red, yellow, and blue piece. So let's run a heroic test, and then we'll run a legendary test. Plus that'll help us build up our stacks on our backpack. So oh, the map really sucks today. None of this stuff looks like, I don't even want to go to any of these zones. This one's a fast one at least. Let me just go to this one down there. I go to the No Hope Hotel. It's a good little test. I like the No Hope Hotel just because it's I travel into the Space Administration HQ and then it's just a quick jog over. So plus there's no turret at the front door waiting for you. So that's always nice. Black John Wick, what's going on? Spin of Webs, James Eaton, there's my boys. I would focus on critical damage, Justin. Justin's asking if I'd focus on critical damage or watch weapon damage on my watch first. And I'd focus on crits because crits mean more. They're more impactful when it comes to overall damage that you're putting out. In the end, they all kind of finish at the same time, give or take, anyways. Okay, so Face LBC. Let me read Face LBC's comment real quick. It says Memento, 3-piece Empress, skill tier with crit damage, Fenris weapon damage, and Cheska glass cannon with 6 skill tiers. Technician. Yeah, completely different build though. You know what I mean? Like we're trying something new, Face, but that's a great build. There's no doubt. We're just trying something new here. You know what I mean? But actually, I would probably take out that Fenris for a Grupo. Try that on your build, Face. You might find that. So I stopped running Fenris. Actually, ooh, we're still shredding with that gun though. I stopped running Fenris actually altogether. Like I just don't have room for it. And the reason why is because you got Cheska, you got Grupo. You know what I mean? Unless you were gonna run, so the only time I guess I would suggest Cheska now is if you were gonna run a non-crit build, like if you decided to go no crits, which are still really powerful builds. I don't know if you guys have done that, but you can still run no non-crit builds and they're still really powerful. Just relying on Ooh, who's shooting at us from a distance? This guy down here, apparently. So remember, every time we pick up one of these trophies, it's like putting your skills on a little overcharge. So they makes up for all those skill tiers we don't have. We're cutting through these guys. So we don't have any trophies yet, remember, right? We just have a couple. I'm gonna try to grab a few more. Always get me with that foam. Look at that shit. Jesus Christ, they always get me with that foam. Annoying. Coming through. I'm impatient, right? Like a patient person would just wait for the party to be over and go pick up his trophies. But like, nope. This guy gonna come out and play with us or what? We have to come back and get him. Let's give him something to play with. There he comes. Yeah, he's not gonna last. Yeah, he got shredded through. That was all skill there too. I mean, we put a couple shots in him, but the skills did all that. I mean, it's just nice to have a skill build that, you know, that's got all the weapon damage that you would look for and hope for. Makes a world of difference. I mean, just we're cutting through them like they're made out of cheese. Yeah, you guys are gonna like this build, I promise. I promise you. You're like it, because I'm liking it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm having fun. I'm having fun right now. See, it's because a lot of it's because I'm able to move about. You know what I mean? I'm not pinned down, and that's because of the time to kill. It's not. I mean, armor and kill and stuff like that really helps also, right? Because if you're always like down on your luck with armor, then you're not able to get out. You have to play more cautiously, right? Which is why it's not as fun to run all damage builds sometimes, just because, I mean, it depends on the build, of course. That's a general statement, but just because, like, you know, you take one hit, you lose all your health, and then you have to adjust your playstyle for it. So I gotta say, so far, I mean, so this build is definitely legendary certified and heroic certified. I mean, the last one we still have yet to test this on legendary, but the last one worked on legendary, and this one's working on heroic like better than the last one. Then this one surely will work on legendary. Ooh, we're taking heat from the back. I don't know who was shooting at me, but it didn't feel very good. I think it was that purple guy over there. We don't have our invisi shield on, you know what I mean? If we had our invisi shield, we could take pain from the back. There's one lonely guy up there, so we'll let our civilians take care of him while we check out this gear real quick. So, you know, I guess, you know, the pace in which you're playing kind of says a lot about a build, I guess, is another way to look at it. If it's working, you're moving quickly and not as timid, and I don't think that can all be thrown in with just somebody's gameplay style, you know, because, yeah, granted, I'm a little bit more aggressive than you guys are. Some of you, maybe not all of you. So, okay, so let me just grab this loot real quick. I'll give you guys another peek at the build, and then we'll go over to Legendary. Actually, we might just head straight over there. Stats, effects, Murakami, nothing good. So here's where we're at still. So 3-piece Empress, that goes a long ways. I think that's doing a lot of work versus 3-piece Empress. 1-piece of Wyvern, max crits with the skill tier and glass cannon. Spellstone's junk, this rigger's junk. And then we got these death grips that are are perfect rainbow, but that's what I want it to be. And then the memento. So let's see how this holds up against a legendary mission. So remember we were running, oh, let me ammo up just in case. Nope, we're good on ammo. So remember we were having ammo issues in the solo legendary, right? And so if we run out of ammo, I mean, that could happen in any build, but we want to be, we ran out of ammo when we got to the Chunga, so we were doing pretty good there. So it's not the worst situation. So we just want to see if we've improved on that. Now we got the armor regen and the armor on kill, a lot more weapon damage, a lot more skill efficiency, so we're going to be pretty good. When in doubt, memento out. Shit, we need a t-shirt that says that. Madrik, what's going on? Okay, so let me reset this legendary. Cool, so we should be good. Just gonna take a quick peek at your guys' comments here. I don't know, Black Man, about the Heartland. It's still a lot of speculation, so I don't want to go say one way or the other, but I don't feel like it's going to be too much about. Well, it is. I mean, it's PvE, PvP kind of thing mashed up, so that's sort of always survival. Yeah, that's like survival. Rudolph the Red. I didn't see you jump in, man. What's going on? But I try not to speculate. Like, you guys probably have realized by now that, like, I don't jump in on a lot of those in the early comments and like leaks and stuff like that a heck of a lot. I mean, I'll bring it up a little bit here and there, but the reason why is because it can get, it's a thing, and we all say that we're not victims of it, but the reality is that we are. Like, what ends up happening is you get your hopes up. Oh, what the fuck just hit me? What was that? Jesus Christ, did I get sniped in the face? Shit, that sucks. That really sucks. Because I wanted to test the memento in this, and I just lost all my... I literally felt like I took a fucking sniper rifle to the face. I don't know what that was, but it hurt. It must have been a grenade, and like the explosion animation was off. I don't know. But that hurt. So you do want to take out the tanks as quickly as possible because they're just wailing on your tech, right? So that's a good excuse to get rid of them. Magreek, welcome to the True Bandidos, brother. Appreciate you supporting me, man. It's a lot. So that means you get access to the classified secret builds, and the easiest place to find them as a new member to the Players Club is just to head over to my YouTube homepage. It's the standard YouTube homepage. And at the top, there's a members only playlist. And inside there is all of the classified builds that I've created to date. So you can start backfilling your build loadouts. Lots to play with in there. Also, we have a members only playlist on Discord too. You should meet me over there. So let's try to collect some of these trophies. ammo. Yeah, so the drone operator is always your biggest threat, right? So that's who I'm out there. I hope I sicked my drone on her. I better be attacking her. Yeah, it is. You do not want one of those drone ladies hanging around. They just torment you to death. So yeah, this build is amazing, guys. This build is absolutely amazing. So like I play a little bit differently, like when I'm live streaming, like not quite as aggressive as I actually do, like when I'm solo and not streaming. So normally I actually like to get underneath that helicopter and kill them as they're coming down. And sometimes I'm not always successful, so there's, you know, sometimes I'll push hard like that and I'll die, but it's more exhilarating, but it's just kind of like, again, it helps me test the limits of a build. But I'm liking where our health is on this build. It's definitely at a better place. Remember in the version 1, we used up all of our armor kits, and we still have max armor kits here. So that's a big tell on that this is working for us. Also, look at our ammo. Our ammo's at an extremely healthy place. Part of that is because we were allowed to get out of cover and pick up some ammo too, right? And so, but that's part of it. Usually, a lot of my ammo situations, when I do run into ammo issues, it's because I'm pinned down and I can't run around and get that ammo, right? So, part of it is just being able to get out of cover so you can fetch the ammo remnants laying around. You gotta be careful with that sniper. That's the one. They one shot you easily. Yeah, so there it is, guys. I mean, that performed beautifully, actually. So we'll take a look at where we are. Let me just collect these trophies. Actually, I wanna. So unfortunately, we died really quickly. I got hit by, I don't know, maybe a grenade or something right in the beginning. But it took like it was like one shot. They one-shotted me. You know, part of that's glass cannon, right? But where's this trophy, hidden trophy? Oh, it's back here. So I do want to try this again, like with a full stack of trophies. And what it's about is I want to see the speed in which we take out the tanks. But this works. This definitely works. Right on, Magritte. Hey, what platform are you playing on, by the way? So here's the build. So basically what we're saying is, so this pumped it up to a skill 3. Like, it would be interesting to find a chess piece that, I mean, if I can get rid of this skill tier on that chess piece, that would be really nice. Because I think we could drop a skill tier. So another thing I could do is, well, see, I like running Technician on legendaries because it gives you that additional damage to robotics, which is really helpful, right? But we could also get rid of Technician and put Gunner there instead. That would give us a 10% armor on kill, and by doing that, I could actually run something like this. Or what else could we do? If we ran Gunner, we could run a Grupo or a Cheska piece. Right? That's what we would do. A Grupo or a Cheska piece. So that would come from... So we'd want to put on... Let's try that. Actually, I got an idea. If we went that route, we'd get rid of our Wyvern. So let's try that. Okay, we're going back to the lab, boys, ladies and gentlemen. Back to the lab. Okay, so what I'm gonna try to do now is get rid of the technician specialization. So what I might do here is get rid of 2 skill tiers. Sounds crazy, but what I'm gonna try to do is, so I might put what I think I might do is put the Grupo, at least 1 skill tier, we'll see here, but I'm gonna try to put it like a Grupo or a Cheska chest piece on, and then get rid of the death grips. The death grips are really cool, but they do bring some inefficiency to the build because of the, you guys know what? Health attribute that they give you, right? We're absolutely getting no help to our build from that. We are getting the damage. The reality is that there's a couple of things that the death grips bring inefficiency to. One is that armor on kill is in the secondary attribute slot where we could otherwise have crit chance or crit damage. 2, they're giving us 10% health that we're not using. So it brings double inefficiency to a build. Very, very useful piece though. I love these gloves, but if we drop those and get rid of the technician talent, the technician talent basically brings us 30% skill damage because it's bringing us a skill tier plus 10% skill damage from the skill tree. So if you know what I'm talking about. So, but we need to try to get rid of this technician, see if we can get rid of it. So you see how I have skill damage here? So there's 10%, and then the skill tier basically gives us another 20%. So let's try gunner. So we need to make sure we have our assault rifle. Okay, so we do. So let's activate gunner. And the reason why we're activating gunner is A for ammo and B for 10% armor on kill. So I've actually run gunner on some hybrid skill builds before, and I really like it. It comes in handy. That 10% armor on kill does. So what that allows me to do is get rid of the death grips and the double inefficiencies that it brings. And instead, what I can do is put this Empress back on here, or I can roll. See, actually, I think I have a Grupo skill build piece, but I think we'll just run the Empress there for a sec. Let's just put that there for a sec. And then we will try to find a Grupo. Let's see here. There's a chest guy. I know I have this piece that I'm looking for. I just don't know where it is. Let's find it. Well, I guess it could just be an all red Grupo. I guess that's what we could run, right? Well, we could run a chill out too, right? That's basically the same thing. Actually, so we'd want to run this. See, there's a skill tier version too if we decided the skill tier is beneficial. And then there's a Cheska with his crit damage and skill damage. So I got versions that we could try. But let's try, okay, so we got our 3 pieces Empress going still. So now I'm gonna, by bringing the Grupo, we're gonna get more weapon damage via crit. So again, that means we're gonna have less ammo issues because we're killing faster. Let's see where we're at right now with crits. So 53, 158. So I'm gonna bring crit chance mod there. Boom. I'm tempted to get rid of the Wyvern too, right? I'm tempted. But that brings us to 60, 158. So yeah, let's see. So the thing though is that my silence is coming from, you know, dropping that skill tier. What do we drop? This is the same. Oh yeah, we're losing the skill tier. So losing that skill tier means less skill health and skill damage, of course. So puts a lot more pressure on our gun. But it might work out. Let's just go check it out. It just doesn't feel like I'm getting a lot on paper. When I look at the stats on paper and I see like, yeah, Magrick. So I was thinking about the chill out mask because that's a good idea too. It's just that a Grupo is going to give you more than the chill out mask would. Because a chill out mask is going to give you the armor attribute from the Heliguard set, and we don't need the armor attribute. Even though it gives you the double crit mod, so you're better off just running with the crit damage piece because you're gonna get more crit damage out of it, which would be 36% or more, right? I think it's 37%. So, okay, so we're gonna need to reset this. So everything's back to fresh. So we got a fresh memento, no trophies. This is fine. I like testing when the memento's at full because then what I'm really looking for is what it can what the potential of a build is. And so when you're looking for what the potential of a build is, then you want it to be at its optimal performance, which is all trophies. So, anyways, it's fine. So the first few seconds are always the worst, so keep that in mind, especially when it comes to grenades. If you're gonna get hit by a grenade, it's always gonna happen in the first minute, basically. Oh, just like that. It's always the worst. That happened last time, basically. Whatever it is that hits me in that first few seconds is like, really? Like, wow. Like, whatever you are, you're an absolute maniac of a killer thing. But whatever shoots me, it must be a grenade. It must be a grenade from one of those tanks or something like that, because it's just not showing me the splash damage that's coming out of it. But anyways, so you always want to, you kind of want to play it a little bit more relaxed in the first minute, basically, unless you're speedrunning, of course. And then once the enemies kind of scatter about, then then you can start playing a little bit more aggressive. Grenade. Yeah, see, our skills are down right here, so that kind of sucks, right? So when your skills are down, what that means is that you're basically hiding a little bit more because you don't have your aggro. Fucking grenader.
Serious trauma detected.
We need to get rid of this tank. It's in a very inconvenient spot. All right. Let me heal up a little bit. Let's go get some trophies. Every time you pick one of these up, especially when your skills are out there targeting something, you're giving them a little bit of a boost. I feel like we're finding ourselves a little bit more chaos than we need to be right now. Like right here. Yep. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't think we made a move for the better. I think that last move might have been for the worse in the build. So, the expertise mode is probably going to be released somewhere around the end of the season. So, so let's try putting on the Grupo. So losing that skill tier hurts it. So I'm going to put back on, let's see, did I bring that? I didn't bring it. I should have brought it. Let me fast travel back. So I think they're going to be, so yeah, basically, I mean, it's not, they haven't made any announcements, right? So we're always speculating here, but I think when the expertise mode is going to come out, like all the major game changes, I believe are going to come out about 2 weeks, plus or minus, after this season. So I think we're going to let the season run through, season 8. And then around 2 weeks after that, they're gonna drop probably the new content for us. So I believe they're testing right now. Let me see what damage numbers are, because I see the damage numbers. You're saying instead of the cloud format? Remember, I'm not on PC. I'm on a Xbox, so our damage numbers show up differently than yours. But I think that's... so these just show damage numbers on or off. And then from there, it's... let's see, scrolling combat text, random sphere, or floating, or 2D. So those are my options right there. You know what I mean? So we don't have that little menu because you might be on PC, Jasper. So if you're on PC, your damage numbers look different than ours. So I have random sphere if you like, or I have floating if you like, or 2D. So random sphere is the default. So I can give you floating or 2D, you pick. Scrolling. Where's scrolling? He says under... Where did you say, Jaco? Where is it at? Under accessibility, maybe? Floating. Okay, random sphere, floating. So that's mine. Is that right? Floating. Okay, cool. Okay, we'll give that a try. Let's see if that's better. The problem is I always reset my settings all the time. So like I'll change my settings and I'll tune them and then I reset them for whatever reason. Okay, so what we're gonna try is, so I think taking off the skill tier hurt us. By hurting us, I mean that our skills were going down at inconvenient times. So what I'm gonna do is put on this Grupo instead. So basically, so we got rid of a technician so that we can get the armor on kill, right? So, and ammo. But by doing that, we lost that skill tier, which might be hurting us too much. And you know, it's hard to judge just by one round of gameplay, but I could just kind of feel it. So let's try this instead for a quick sec. So that brings up our crit chance, crit damage is still the same. So now we gain more skill health, a little bit more skill damage, of course. And then let's see here. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that stupid scalpel. Now we might be better off just actually going back. Well, we need that armor on kill. That's really helping. Let's try this. Floating looks way better. Okay, cool. We'll give this a try. You know, I wish we had those PC settings on console. You know how they have their damage numbers in the bottom little left? I really wish we had that. Because it's just so much more clear. You know what I mean? Like it gets jumbled up in the combat view, no matter what, you know? I mean, this will probably be better, no doubt, but I just wish that we had that little menu in the bottom left, like PC guys do. So you always gotta look out for that random grenader who's up there. Yeah, so that's without the additional damage to robotics, so it's not bad. I like having the additional damage to robotics for legendary missions, you know? It's... Oh, God. I knew I should have healed up. I try not to use my armor kits.
You've got your objective. Don't let anything stand in your way.
Yeah, see our skills go down at an inconvenient time. See, that tank is flanking me right there. So that's definitely annoying. Oh, God, and it's going way back there, too. Yeah, so we just got pushed way back. This sucks. Might as well just kill yourself. Let's go ahead and kill myself real quick. Or we just reset.
Civilians in distress.
So that might be the damage to... so we got the same amount of skill tiers back, right? But what ended up happening is we're missing that damage to targets out of cover. I'm sorry, the damage to robotics. And so that might be the big difference in those tanks. Those tanks being able to flank us like that, because that's a bad sign. Like, that's your DPS check, right? So if your tanks are flanking you, then we might have had it right the first time, the way the setup was. I mean, that's always the thing, right? So, like, actually, I asked the same question earlier today on this morning's live stream on Twitch, which is, do I bring the community the strongest build possible, or the build that's most imbalanced? Which is the best? I find that as a question that I often ask, you know? It's a challenging one to answer. What's the best build to bring the community? The strongest one possible, or the one that's most imbalanced? And what I mean by most imbalanced, it's also has survivability. But in order to bring in survivability, something's got to give, right? And so you're trading off some damage for some survivability. And of course, time to kill is part of survivability. So I'm not just saying that it's all about, you know, bringing in armor or armor and killer, things like that. But so, you know, without your trophies and not taking advantage of the full build. So, like, if you don't do legendary solo a lot, one thing I'll tell you as just a quick tip is that a lot of it's about skill management. So you notice I deconstructed my skill because I wanted it to be fresh for the next wave. That's a big deal. Like, those kind of details are really a big deal. Like, so if you don't do that, then you're gonna find your skill expires in a really inconvenient time. Yeah, this build's not bad, though. This build is not bad. It's going to be a tough call. Calling in between them. sneaky little drone operator. There we go. So ammo's right about the same place as we were last time. With the last, before we made the last build changes. So that's a good sign. So it might be about on par. Okay, we'll let this Chungadoos climb in like a toddler. You know what I mean? Just like ridiculous. To see this big guy climb that thing in his big old suit and his minigun, you know? He's baiting you is what he's doing, though. He wants you to change your angles on him, which gets you in range of his stingers when you do. It's a trick. I've fallen for that trick before. See, what he wants you to do by standing there is come all the way over here. See that? And then he starts pushing on you, and then he gets in range. You get in range of his stingers. See that? Now I'm in range of his stingers, and you get pinned down too. Like if you move, then he's got you with his Gatling gun. So now he's got an angle on me. So it's a little bit of a cat and mouse game that he does with you. And if you don't have the right build, like with armor regen or protection from elites or something like that, then his stingers will wear you down. And then you try to move. So yeah, this isn't bad, but I think we might have had it right. This build definitely worked, but I think we might have had it right. The build version with the death grips. I think we might want to. I mean, if you don't have the death grips, then you might want to go this route and pull your armor on kill this way. But so I think the version we had earlier was we had the Empress here, and then we had our death grips here, like that. And I think this version felt the best. But sometimes it's hard to make a call. I do need to officially play with it more. And then I'd run Technician here, but it's hard to make the call on a build, just running it a couple of times, right? You got to run more when they're that close, because they were really close. So it's almost a draw between the two. I'll be honest with you, it's almost a draw. And sometimes your feeling on how good it is or not versus the other one can just depend on your personal gameplay experience. Meaning, like maybe I got hit by an unlucky grenade or something like that, and that kind of threw off my feelings of the build. But it really has nothing to do with the build. That's just random gameplay things happening. So let me make sure I got the stuff deleted that I don't need. But I think for now, I think that this is probably at a good place. There's not many changes you can make without totally taking it to a different build altogether, right? Like, you start making certain changes and you're in a whole nother category of build. So to kind of, I think, preserve on the intentions of the build, which is how few skill tiers can you get away with on a skill hybrid DPS build, right? And I think I think we've nailed it. So we'll go back and look at it again. But I'm actually really talking about on the build itself, not so much the ancillary skill tiers that you can bring in, like through Technician. But so I think this is the right setup. So, but before we had the Hannah U, and that felt great too. So there was nothing wrong with that. So I do believe. Let me go put on Technician, because we need that on in order to tell the full story. So let's inspect real quick, make sure we got the right. Yeah, we do. So activate. All right. So this is I think the true story is that what I found was because of all of the damage attributes you're pulling in from the brand sets, right? The brand sets giving you skill, haste, skill, damage, blah, blah, blah. And the talents, combined arms giving you damage, capacitance giving you damage to your skills, and a glass cannon. And so I think we found that you can get away with running only one skill tier on your build, and your skills survive long enough in legendary for it to make sense. So we did solo legendary with this setup. Now the only thing we had different is, I'll go back to the original. Actually, let me go back. Oops, I didn't want to mark that as, we don't want to do that. We want to do this. So the original looked like this. So here's the original setup, right? And it worked really well. So the only reason why we changed is because we felt some pains, right? So we ran the solo legendary, and it did absolutely well. But one thing is that without armor on kill, you have to slow down to use your armor kits, and that became annoying to me. So that was one of the problems I wanted to fix. Also, we ran out of ammo at the end, and it's not a big problem as long as you have a good secondary weapon. But you know, ideally, you want to avoid running out of ammo. So that means we were putting a lot of pressure on the gun, and we needed to shift some pressure onto the skills, make the skills do more work. So that way we don't run out of ammo with these setups. So by bringing in the memento, that solved all of our problems. So that gave us 30% skill efficiency, which is amazing for your skills, right? And we got the short-term buffs and long-term buffs, but also because we didn't have armor or a lot of survivability on the defense side of things, then this gave us the skill tier plus the 3% armor regen, right? And then it's also giving us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 25% weapon damage on the short-term buffs, and then 30% on the back end. So it makes our weapon even more powerful when we're at full tilt. So that was a big change. That solved a lot of our problems. And from here, we went even further by dropping our Hannah U, because we no longer need the skill haste, because we're fine with all the skill efficiency we're getting. So, and then that gave us the flexibility. What do we want to do with our rotating piece? And the decision that I went with was to go with the death grips and give ourselves 10% armor on kill. Now there's some inefficiencies that this brings, we discussed, but the 10% armor on kill is really handy. It allows you to stay in the fight more, right? The other way you can go is, since you already have 3% armor regen, you can put on the Murakami Industry knee pads and add another 1% armor regen, so that you have a total of 4% armor regen. It's just that the 10% armor and kill is going to be even handier because you're constantly killing. But this also gives you skill duration, so that's nice. So you could go either way, honestly, and you'll be cool with it, you know. So I'm just going to stick with the 511s because we didn't actually test the Murakamis. Also, we didn't really need the skill duration because our skills, well, let me take that back. I did have to deconstruct the skill once to make sure that we didn't have an awkward cooldown. So there's that. But for the most part, the skill efficiencies that we got between this brand set Empress and the backpack should handle most of everything. So you don't really need skill duration too much. But yeah, so anyways, really interesting. So we end up with 3 skill tiers here, but the reality is that officially we're only running 1 skill tier on our build. We got 5 cores. So it's really a 5-1 setup, but because of the memento, we're getting another one, and because of technician, we're getting another one. So we got 2 bonus skill tiers. So that's really working in our favor, and that's also working in our favor from our weapon, because remember, our weapon's getting 7.5% weapon damage per skill tier. Now, and we're running 5 red, so we got 5 full 15% weapon damage cores going to our capacitor, and then we're picking up another 7, 14, 21, 22.5%. Then we're getting another 22.5% on top of that because of the skill tiers, and then we're getting the memento buffs on top of that. So the gun is really doing all the work. This is, I know it looks funny, this is a DPS build. This is a capacitor DPS build that looks funny, right? So, but it worked absolutely amazing. If you can solo the entrance of District Union Arena, then you can play Legendary in group with this build and be just fine with it. Now, I know some of you guys have mixed feelings with the Memento backpack and group scenario. So if that's your problem, then just run your force multiplier or a Bellstone if you like. You have options from there. But for me, I don't mind it. It just means you're gonna take a little bit longer to get your backpack stacked up. But I don't mind it. I'm cool with just having the 3 cores. That's helpful enough. But otherwise, you can put on a Hannah U and, you can decide what to do from there. Do you want to run the weapon damage or do you want to run the skill tier? Now, remember, when you're running in group, you're not going to have ammo issues, right? Because you got 3 other people shooting along with you. And if you're playing correctly in a group, you should be focus firing. So, and at the same time, if you go down, then you have somebody picking you up. And then sometimes you have a healer on your build, so you might not need the armor regeneration. So there's a lot of reasons why you might want to just run the Hannah piece. But this is a really interesting build. If you love your DPS and you love your skill builds because of all the aggro they take and the assistance they do on the DPS side of things, then this is an awesome build for you. Just look at it this way. It just solves this problem. And this is one of the problems that we're always asking ourselves, which is this. When you're putting together a hybrid skill build, you're always challenged with getting your primary weapon to be just as strong as your skill build, as your skills, right? And this build accomplishes that question. It makes, and you got to remember, you got to ask what puts out more damage, your skills or your weapon. Your skills are never gonna hit as hard as your weapon does, because your weapon can crit, your skills can't. Also, these skills don't take advantage of a lot of the multiplicative damage types, like damage to armor, damage to targets out of cover, damage to health. Now, your assault rifle does. Your assault rifle benefits from all of those multiplicative damages. And so, for all of those reasons, your skills are never going to hit as hard as your weapon. So, even in a hybrid skill build, your weapon is going to do more damage as long as you can stay out of cover and shoot. And so, the skills help you do that. They're your like cloaking devices. So, they're very important, in this game. In Legendary especially. Like, if you run a Legendary with a team, like if you're running with a team and nobody has a turret out there, it's a painful game. I'm sure you've experienced that. Like, if everybody's running M1As and, and all that stuff, even with the healer, it's like you're constantly, there's nothing out there to take aggro, so you're constantly taking those bullets. So skill builds are really, really important. So when you can find one that has the DPS like this one does, oh my gosh, try this one. Try it in Heroic first, and you, just like I was like, oh yeah. In any one of the formulas that we tried today, all the enemies were like butter. All the enemies were like butter. We were cutting through them, and then we took it to Legendary, and it wasn't any different. The only thing that changed was the amount of, obviously, inbound damage that was coming your way, right? So, but they went down really fast. The Chungas, they weren't a problem killing the Chungas, right? Nobody was a problem. So, the only thing I would say that did change that I felt was when we took away Technician, that it took longer to take down those tanks, and that was a problem. So, but that's a very unique problem to Legendary, okay? So if you don't do a lot of Legendary, then you got flexibility with your specialization. You don't have to run Technician. You can run Gunner, okay? But if you're going to be using this in Legendary, because of the tanks, because of the Warhounds, then you're probably better off with Technician. If you're running solo, if you're running group, you have a whole team shooting at those tanks. You don't have to run Technician, right? You don't. So even if one of your skills goes down, you're not so vulnerable because you have a whole team. So remember, it's easier in team format, right? Gameplay is easier in team. So, and I know people always think about it differently. There's always like, oh, that build's great in Heroic, but in Legendary it sucks. No. The build's the same, right? And if you feel that, then that means you're probably running with the wrong team, or you need to have a chat with your team, which is like, hey guys, we're always going to be the underdogs. The White Tusk are always going to be stronger than us. So this whole divide and conquer and Legendary strategy doesn't work unless you're speed running. So that's different. If you're speed running, then you divide and conquer. You pick a door, you pick a door, you pick a door. Everybody one-shots everybody in the head. with their Regulus and moves on to the next checkpoint. That works for speedrunning. But if you're not speedrunning and you're not super aggressive like that, then no, you guys all need to be focus firing on the right enemies. So your build, it shouldn't be your build, it should be your strategy. And anyways, it's not the build that changes, it's that the enemies become tankier. And they have to be, because why? Because there's 4 different players shooting them at the same time. If the enemy wasn't tankier, then this game wouldn't be fun because everybody would die too easy. So, and I get it, we all get frustrated because of how tanky the enemies are. You offload a whole clip into their face and they're still coming forward. I get that, that's frustrating, right? But there's a mechanic. If your DPS is there, if you're putting in enough DPS, they start walking backwards. That's your DPS check. And that's why I use District Union Arena as a test for all my builds, because those tanks have a mechanic. Even if you can't kill them, if you put in enough damage per second into that tank, he will retract. And so that's the check. That's what we're testing when we go into those things. And then there's survivability. How fast can we clear this thing? How often do I have to pull out an armor kit? Do I run out of ammo? These are all things that I get. And some of that's tested by experience, right? I just know. But anyways, so this build works for heroic and legendary, but remember, when you're playing in a team, you have more flexibility. You don't have to run technician, you can run gunner. So think about that when you're taking versions of this build. But for now, you run it like this. You can solo legendary, you can play in group of legendary, and you can absolutely destroy heroic. It's a very fun playing this in heroic because I was, shaking and baking out there, right? So anyway, so I'm gonna save this because and it's not for say that, and I'm not saying that it's completely done. Actually, I would like to get a better chess piece. I know it's a pretty goddamn good looking chess piece, I get that, but I would like to get one an all red wyvern in the mix. I would like to get all red wyvern, and then just rely on technician and the memento for the 2 skill tier. And by running an all red wyvern, what that means is every time I pick up that trophy, I'm gonna get 30% weapon damage bonus, and that's a lot. That extra 5% weapon damage would be really nice to have, and that's because it's being amplified by glass cannon. So it'd actually be even more with glass cannon on top of it. So anyways, those are little things. Same with same goes with the skill tier, right? So you pick up one of those trophies and then your skills go and overcharge even more because of the skill tier, and then glass cannon on top of that. So it just works. But again, I'm trying to minimize how many skill tiers this build has, and by having a wyvern chest with no skill tier on it, I would ultimately finish the test. We just haven't tested that version yet. So that's why it's not for sure done, but you know how farming goes in this. That's a very specific item, so. Yeah, John B, that's a good question. He's asked if I die a lot playing solo with glass cannon. I mean, I wouldn't say I die any more than if I were using any other chest. This is what I found. Here's a big, this might help you guys. So, like, what I found when it comes to solo legendary specifically, okay, what I learned when I first started with solo legendary, and I looked at a lot of the speedrunners, and I studied their gameplay style and what builds that they were using, and tried to figure out why. If you guys ever watch the speedrunners, they never explain anything, so you know, right? If you're watching any of the speedrunners, nobody ever explains anything. As a matter of fact, they rarely even show you the build. They just show you the gameplay and they kind of go like, good luck. If you ask them questions, then sure, they probably answer, but for the most part, they're not very revealing. But so a lot of that you kind of have to look and study and kind of try to figure it out yourselves. But what I found as I was learning my solo legendary strategy, my own, and putting it together after watching these speedrunners, is that I figured out why they run perfect glass cannon. So a lot of them run perfect glass cannon almost always, unless they're running a different build. But like if they're running like a build, like a skill build, or if they're running the negotiators build, they're always running the sacrifice, like the perfect glass cannon version, like that. Like if they were running negotiators build, it would be this perfect glass cannon that they're running it with. Now, it's not a rule, but what they've discovered, and what I also discovered, is that 5% additional amplified damage, because you're running the perfect version, is absolutely a game changer. It makes a world of difference. And yes, you're taking more amplified inbound damage, but here's the deal. When it comes to legendary solo, you're either dead or alive, basically, for the most part, right? And so there's a hidden mechanic. It's not a hidden mechanic. There's a mechanic in the game that if you notice, like when you get hit by a sniper, it'll take away all of your armor and all of your health, but it'll leave just a tiny little sliver, enough for you to stand on your feet and use your armor kit. Now, if you get hit by a second sniper shot, then you're going down. But they always give you just a sliver, right? And so that's built into the game. So it's like it's a safety net, and it's always there. So if I was running Obliterate instead, let me tell you, that same sniper is going to take away all of my armor and all of my health. If I'm running Perfect Glass Cannon, that same sniper is going to take away all of my armor and all of my health. But in both cases, I will still be standing on my feet because of that same mechanic that I'm talking about in the game, right? That sliver of health that keeps you on your feet, right? So now it is possible to go all the way down. If you get hit by a sniper and a grenade at the same time, then you're going down, right? So, anyways, but so I guess, so my findings were going through several iterations and hundreds of builds and learning my strategy for legendary, and that's what really got me into Glass Cannon was legendary. I found that your survivability goes up with the more damage you put out per second. It's more important than armor regeneration. It's more important than armor. It's more important than armor on kill. The most important thing in legendary solo is your time to kill or your DPS, whatever. And it doesn't matter if you're running skills, or it doesn't matter if you're running an assault rifle build or a Baker's dozen, doesn't matter. It always comes out of the same second. Damage per second. You want to go, first you want to get the high, when you're creating your builds, your solo builds for legendary, the first thing you should be aiming for is maximum damage. And then once you get that, maximum damage per second, then start adding in your survivability from there, backing out your damage until you get to that point where like, okay, I backed out too much, so let's go back to where we just were, and that's your happy place. That's how you find your sweet spot between damage and survivability, as you start with your maximum damage and then start removing that damage until you remove too much and then go back one step. And so, but I've learned that extra 5% amp damage from Perfect Glass Cannon is a major game changer in your solo strategy. It's usually the better way to go. But you have to experience that yourself. It's probably hard to believe, right? But when you're solo legendary, you're either dead or alive. You either die because you get swarmed, or you get outflanked, or you make a dummy mistake, or you're too slow, at moving from A to B, whatever. And so, but those are the reasons why you usually die. You chose bad cover, and you got swarmed by a couple of grenades, whatever, right? Like those are the reasons why you die. And when you're solo legendary, it's not because, it's not the glass cannon that kills you. I promise you. You're either in the solo legendary, you're either dead or you're alive. So I'm trying to get caught up in your comments, guys. Sorry, because when I'm testing these builds, then it gets a little hard to keep up with the comments while I'm testing in the legendary range, of course. Squad, Mr. Gods, I realize you left, but Squad, also TuxeBot, I appreciate you guys for helping out with the moderating of the chat. Super helpful. Yeah, it's very much a Frankenstein build, Magreek. Totally Undertaker. So I asked this question earlier, and I have a question that I need you guys to help me answer. And let me throw up a poll here, so it's gonna take me a second or two to write this out, but give me a second. Let me type out this question here. Okay, so there's only two options because this is a question that I have a hard time. I ask myself often when I'm creating these builds. Appreciate you, Biko. Thank you for complimenting the live stream format. So, and actually, you joined this morning's version too, where I was doing something similar, right? But I think you caught me at the tail end. But thanks for joining me on Twitch too. I appreciate that. Hey, by the way, everybody, make sure you also head over to Twitch and follow me over there if you're not, because I am doing different content over there, Division 2 content as well, but not duplicate content as you're seeing here. So I worked on a build this morning over on Twitch, and it was a different build, but in live format, it's really helpful. But I like to do this too, Biko, because I like to share my thinking. I know you guys don't all agree with me, and I don't expect you to, but it's just like kind of hearing my thoughts out loud, you know, maybe will help, you know, if you ask certain questions, in the same way that I ask questions about my build, like, you know, that might help you create your own builds, or take my builds and say, oh, I realize why Tux did this, and he did this because of his play style, or he did this because he plays solo, or he did this because he's using it in a group, but I'm playing solo, so I'm gonna adjust these things around. But when you're creating your own builds, you know, I hope you ask some of these questions to yourself. But the number one is like, what is the objective of this build, right? That's the first question you got to ask. What is the point of this build? And in this one, it was to make a hybrid skill DPS build with the fewest skill tiers possible, because the skills are never just going to perform as well as our assault rifle does. So we want them to assist, but not take the lead. So when you roll everything into your skills, they take the lead, but they're never just gonna put out as much damage as your weapon. And that takes me back to somebody's comment here, which was a good comment. Let me just scroll up. Undertaker's comment, where I think it was Undertaker's, right? Let me go back. Yeah, he says, you forgot your skills shoot more bullish on a continuous basis to make up for the shortage, so you have to take that into consideration. I do, Undertaker. That's a really good point. And we could all point out reasons why these, I guess, nuances in the skills, these circumstances in the skills that counter what Undertaker's saying. But he's 100% right. And I did mention that earlier. Like, the good thing about your skills is that, you know, a Chunga will be staring your skill right in the face and putting his turret right on your turret, right? And your turret will still continue to shoot at him, you know, with only minor pauses, right? It goes, trrr, trrr, trrr. So only minor pauses. There's no reloading. But what does happen, what does break that bullish behavior, is that when your turret locks onto a target that's in cover and you try to tell it to shoot at somebody else and it doesn't listen to you. Happens to me all the time, right? And so sometimes it's so bad, I end up having to break down my turret just so I can get it to retarget. Does that ever happen to you? Happens to me all the time, you know? So, and so it's just like, it gets so locked onto a target that might even be moved into another room or around a corner, and it's just so locked on a target, it's just like you're useless. For straight 2 minutes, you haven't shot at anybody now. You know what I mean? And so I end up having to deconstruct it and then throw it back out there, you know, 30 seconds later. So that whole process, let's just call it a minute, you know, of where it's not shooting. And the same thing happens with your attack drone, right? It goes off and then it goes on chasing the target and never comes back. You're like, come back, come back, come back, come back, come back. And it doesn't. And then it gets blown up, right? And so there are, you know, if you've ever measured, I mean, if nobody ever has, but it'd be nice, it'd be really cool to see, you know, if somebody was able to accomplish that, to really, you know, measure how much DPS they really do in combat scenarios, you know, with things like them getting blown up, them, they're running out of duration, getting locked on targets, and not breaking, you know, correctly, stuff like that, you know. But totally, you're 100% right, you know what I mean? You have to reload your assault rifle, your turret never reloads, you know. You have to hide in cover, your turret never has to hide in cover, you know. Yeah, totally. So it's able to put out a lot of damage more continuously than you are. But when what this build does, which is really cool, is that it takes advantage of that and then moves the power to your assault rifle so that you can put out more power, put out more damage continuously. And your skills are also putting out more damage continuously, just not as much as your assault rifle, but they give you that cloaking device. They give you that cloaking field, right? Because everybody is so focused on your skills. That's the most important part of a skill build. I think no matter what, no matter how much damage they're putting out, I think the biggest benefit of a skill build is that they put a cloaking cape around your little character's body, right? Your enemies, I mean, you could be standing up with like 5 enemies in your face, but if your turret is out and your drone is out, none of them are shooting at you. So let's take a look at you guys' votes. So let's end the poll here. So I appreciate you guys for those of you that voted. Appreciate that. Kelly and Low. That sounds mean, man. Kelly and Low was like, you guys gotta read this comment. I mean, if you put in the way it sounds, like, it's funny because it's just like, it's a smart strategy, but it sounds like torturous. It's like, I always try to keep shock ammo in my pistol, so if they want to get in my face, I switch to my pistol and shock them, then shoot them in the head while they are kneeling, shocked in front of me. But I think it's the picture that you drew in my head. It sounds like you're an executioner. You know what I mean? They're kneeling in front of you and you got your gun on their temple. Funny, man. It's just the way you wrote it. Player J3 asks if I've heard about the guy that did Legendary Solo in 12 minutes. I think so. I don't think that's anything new, though. I mean, I don't have it like quite memorized in my head, but I remember seeing somebody do capital building in under 12 minutes a long time ago. And he used a combination of our Blitz build. Like, if you guys are familiar with the Blitz build I created, which is the Headhunter Hunter's Fury build that uses the M1928 shotgun. And then he used that in the entrance of Capitol building. And then when he wasn't using that, he'd flip over to a Negotiator's Dilemma build. So you'd use that combination. But they're pretty aggressive. John B, can we have both? Can we have both build versions? Yeah, so let's do that. So the question is, which version? So when I create these builds for you guys, I always ask myself, like, which ones do they want to see? I can give you guys the most powerful build version, but like, this is the strongest one. It's the maximum damage, blah, blah, blah. And that's where we started, right? And but I was like, but when you play with it, the reality of those builds, just like any DPS build, right, is just like, you take a couple of bullets and then what ends up happening is you retract in your shell a little bit, like a little sad turtle, right? And so when you're a little sad turtle, you're not playing to your true potential, and that means that's like a couple of minus points on the build, right? That's a couple of minus points on the build. You want your build to help you play at your greatest potential, which is where a balanced build comes in. So that's why I take the strongest build and start bringing in some more survivability, which makes you a more confident player, which allows you to be more aggressive and make you play at your best. And so that's why I think that a more balanced build is better, in my opinion. Not because it's putting out the most damage, but it's putting out the most damage with the greatest amount of survivability combo. You know, but all of those start, you got to remember, all of my builds start with the highest damage output, and then I back down that damage as I'm adding in more survivability, and then I find that balance, you know, where things are in balance. So, but absolutely, I could provide both, John B. But what ends up happening is that most people just ask me, but Tux, which is your favorite? Which would you run? Which would you recommend of the two, right? And so ultimately, I have to pick one. And so, but a lot of that comes into play, which is, well, what do you guys like? What do you want to see? You know? And so also, you know, when you start creating, you know, build 1, build 2, build 3 in the same video, you also start getting into the longer format videos. And I know most people like to consume their build videos in about 10 minutes. So I try to keep it down to that. Of course, when we do live streams, then I can show you all sorts of variations. Be like, we can do this, we can do that. It's a little bit more free flow format, but what I see here is that 82% of you, and we only got 17 votes, so that's, you know, not a great majority, but 82% of those who voted preferred balanced damage and survivability. So that's really good to know. So I will continue to aim for that when I'm questioned with which version of the build do I create. Yeah, Magreek, I need to be joining you on that hardcore agenda. I've yet to do that. What's good, Wellington Carlos? Welcome to the stream. So, yeah, really good place. So the next build that I want to create, so I'm going to hold this one where it's at for now, because I think that if we make too many tweaks to it, we end up with a totally different build. I would say, though, before I hang this build up for the day, is that the only change that I would probably make would be, or the only test that we didn't run that would be worth testing, is the Emperor's Guard knee pads. It would be worth, like, putting on the Emperor's Guard knee pads and then get rid of the 511. And that's because instead of the 10% health, which is kind of wasteful there, right, from the 511 set, we're getting 20% duration. So at least we're getting something out of Murakami, right, besides the armor regen there. So trading 10% health for 20% duration. And then we're losing 10% armor on kill, but getting 1% armor regen. So that's just going to stack on top of the 3% armor regen that Memento's giving us. So I think it'd be a nice compliment. And then we get some crit back and we lose that skill damage. And that's, you know, sort of the same thing. And so if we did that, I'd have to run another Empress. There we go, like that. So that's the Murakami version. I mean, it's sort of the same thing, right? So armor on kill or armor regen, but this way you got more duration. But duration wasn't a big problem for us, so I'm not too concerned about duration. So it's nice to have it, but we have enough duration just from the skill efficiency there. Okay, so the next version I want to make, build that I want to build on is, and this one I'm not sure we're going to finish today, so let's just see how we can do. So I've been promising you guys a Caesar's Guard build. So the goal of this build would be to use the Seeker Mine. So what I want to do is see if we can create an unlimited Seeker Mine build by relying on perfectly skilled. So skill kills have a 30% chance to reset skill cooldowns, okay? So as long as if we get a skill kill, you got a 30%. So that means both skills got to be killing, right? And if you get both skills killing all the time, then there's a good chance that you're gonna get them to reset for you. So what I'm gonna do, actually I want to flip this over. So let's put these on the left. So if you do this correctly, what ends up happening is you don't need to worry about skill haste. So you would not want any skill haste. You would want to put it all into skill damage if possible. So we'll put damage. And then this is the cluster, right? So we got radius, let's see, one cluster mine, radius, and then damage. So the idea is that your skills are so powerful, they're gonna reset your skills because you get a kill. Now the only time that's gonna fail, and so this is the downside of this, is that when you come across, when it's just you and a Chunga, mano a mano, you know what I mean? What do you do in that scenario, right? So that's these builds have their limitations right there. So in order to make the most out of this, I'd probably run, we wouldn't want to run the Memento, we'd want to run a Hannah U like that. Skill haste and skill damage. And then we'd probably want to run a double Hannah U. I don't know if I have the other version of that. Let me see if I do. We do want to run a China, so let me put that there for now. We still might get away. So I'm going to start by going max skill damage into this. And then what I'm going to do is see if we can add in some armor on kill as well. So, but again, we start by going with the highest amount of damage first. So we're looking for a Hannah U. So we're going to need that. I'm looking for a second Hannah U that That's all yellow, basically. Not sure I have that. Might have it on a different character. It's a red one. Okay, let's see what we got now. Swap over to these Empress gloves. So now we got our 3-piece Empress, right? Oh no, we still need a better Empress. Skill damage status effects, no. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. I guess we can use that if I don't have anything else. Oh, or we can use the waveform, right? Yeah, that's what we want. Do I already have a waveform here, though? No. Okay. Yeah, we do want the waveform for this one. Because we're not going to run a memento because we got the hand you backpack. So, yeah. So, I don't think we have any other options. So, because... Oh, yeah, we do. So, you don't want to run Wyvern in this setup. Because, again, with the Empress... You want that 10% skill efficiency. That's more meaningful than just that one Wyvern. Let's see. So we could put it there or... So we could do that. Then I got rid of my China, so then I got to put China. So I want China because China gives you that 15% explosive damage, so that means good. So there we go. So you could run... So in theory, a Wyvern with perfect combined arms is better than... I mean, Wyvern with combined arms is more damage output than Hannah used perfect combined arms, right? You get 35% total versus 30% total. So let me show you what I mean. Let me see. I think I have that. So there's a Wyvern. Yeah, so I could use this one. So because we don't need the skill haste. So see, because we'll get 25% from combined arms plus 10% skill damage from Wyvern is 35% versus 30% from perfect combined arms. But let me see if I already have one that's configured that way. Otherwise, I'll just have to re-roll this one. Oh, we could actually use that one too. We do have a China backpack if I don't have a Wyvern. There we go. Combined arms. Perfect. Okay, now let's find it. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? No, it was a backpack. That's what it was. And there it is. Boom. So now we don't need skill haste, right? Per se. So what I'm going to put in here instead is, what do you guys think? Protection from elites, maybe? The benefit of that would be you could maybe poke your head out. You could also put armor on kill too. Use armor on kill mods. That wouldn't be a bad thing either. I can start with protection from elites though. You're in cover a lot, but ideally you do want to be using your capacitor. You might be better off running the test subject on this one. The reason why is because you're gonna get that 40% skill damage like immediately, and you don't have to build up your stacks, and so that can cost you, right? If you're having to hide a lot, that could cost you that kill from your skill, and then you don't get perfectly skilled. So you can go either or, but I'm gonna try with this. We could also actually in this setup we got an extra skill tier, so we would probably want to run Demolitionist. What do you guys think? Yeah, good point, Undertaker. The figures are very deceptive. As soon as you put this waveform on, just don't trust your numbers, because they're always going to be different, as Undertaker mentioned. So, yeah, very deceptive. So what do you guys think? Should I run? I mean, there's a couple different ways we can go, right? Like I can put on an armor core somewhere, and then get more out of that armor regen. Or I can also run gunner and get 10% armor on kill because we got 6 skill tiers. Or we can run demolitionist and get more explosive damage, which is probably the safer bet. B Tesla, what's going on? Good question. Does 10% armor? Here's apple and banana. Appeal and banana. Appeal and banana. Does 10% armor on kill equal killing one enemy every 10 seconds with 1% armor regen? If so, regeneration is better. It's not because, I mean, yes, regeneration is better if you don't do a good job at killing, right? So what I mean is like, I mean, there are times where you'll kill 2-3 enemies in 10 seconds, pretty easy. It just depends on how fast they're running around, right? That's why, like, I mean, armor on kill is truly better. The real reason why is because it's instant, right? You get 10%. It allows you to play more aggressive because you get out of cover. You know that you have the power to kill that target. And so you're willing to stand toe-to-toe, face-to-face with that target and kill him because you know you're going to out-DPS him. And so, and he's going to hurt you real bad, but you're okay with that because as soon as you kill him, you're going to instantly get 10, 20, 30% of your armor back once he dies. So it's the instant part that makes it really valuable. It's not the amount. It's 10% in a split second versus 1% over 10 seconds means that you can take a heck of a lot more damage in your gameplay. And so that's why Hunter's Fury is so powerful, you know, is because it gives you 20% armor on kill and it allows you to face tank, right? Because of that. The disorient status effect really helps too. Definitely. I mean, I like armor on kill for sure, actually. So, I mean, if you can have both, then you find your build is really, really well put together. So there we go. So on the other one, so we can run the artillery turret now too. So if we do that, then we're probably even more sure to get our skills back. But I'm not a big fan of running the artillery turret. I know it's really powerful, but it's just really tedious to use. You know what I mean? And that which makes it kind of not so much fun for me. So let's test this first on a control point, and then we can take it to legendary from there. So again, we're going max damage first, and then from there we will pull back on the damage and add in more survivability if we can.
Hostiles guarding location nearby.
Relentless is here. He says, have no fear. I'm here. What's going on, Relentless? What's going on, brother? Brother in arms. Okay, so we're in a fog. It's a foggy afternoon in Washington, D.C., where apparently it never snows. Anybody ever notice that it never snows? Is that right? Is that real? Does it never snow in DC? Somebody inform me. Okay, here we go. So, again, we're using this stupid turret. I'm not a big fan, but so let's start by throwing out our our skills. Again, so this is all about the chess piece, right? So we want to see if... This guy coming after me in my little... Get out of my hut. You catching me on fire? What's going on? Get out of my hut, dude. Who does he think he is? Jesus H. Christ. Okay, so anyways, let's get this out. We want to have in-sync proc when we throw those out. Okay, we got our skills back, so that worked. The first time I don't think it did, but we didn't have our skills proc. And waveform might have been screwing with this too. You know, I wonder if waveform is a bad thing to have. So we need 3 kills. There it is. So if we got our 3rd kill, then we got our skills back. I'm not... See what I'm saying? Like, when you use your little turret, you find that, like, you don't use your gun very much, right? I'd find it. It's kind of hard, right? So now we have no skills. That sucks. That's not what we're looking for. We're not looking for a no skill moments in this build, so... Okay, so let's see here. So it'd be nice if we got our skill right back, right? There it is. Boom. We got it right back. So right as I said that, we got it right back. There's somebody behind us, apparently.
Where did he go?
Okay, now we got it. So let's see. We got 4 rounds. So reliability, right? That's what we're looking for. So you want reliability. You want to be able to say, yes, I got skills when I need them, when I'm in a pinch. You know, you don't want it to sometimes work. Let's see if this gets a kill. So no, no.
Agent requesting backup.
Look at this guy. Ballsy. Mama, mama. I don't know. It's not fast enough for me. You know, maybe we need the skill haste mods on top of it. I don't know. That'd be redundant. See, that's just redundant for me. I don't like that idea. But I don't like waiting for my skills. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, no more than 10 seconds, I guess. Oh, we got company. So here we are. No skills. We're skillless. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. So basically, I mean, we want to be able to, I mean, if we want the Infinity Seekers, then we need a guaranteed 3 kills every time we throw it out. Because we're having to rely on our turret too much, I think, to make that happen. And since this turret is like a slow turtle of a weapon, we're finding ourselves in moments where we have neither skill at hand. So we need specifically to make our skills stronger. I mean, our Seeker Mind stronger specifically. That was a lucky shot. I'll be honest with you. Okay, here comes some more fools to test on. I don't know. What are you guys seeing? Sir? AQM, you got a bleed build for me? Well, I'm excited to hear about it. So here we are. Here's a moment where we have no skills. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's not what we're looking for there. Is there a way we can get this chess piece to be... Or maybe it's the turret that we need. Like, what if we ran, like, the... Like, what if we ran a different explosive skill? Like, the burster. You know, I think we need a fresh control point to test that out thoroughly. Yeah, because see, it seems to be too conditional on whether this is triggering that chess piece or not. 1 and 3 means we need every 3 kills we're going to get that back, and the secret mines aren't killing everybody. Where is everybody? There you are. These guys go way out there. Look how far away they are. Like, I don't even want to throw my skill at them. You have to jog over. Jesus. Did I get another territory? They always do this. See, yeah, this is, I don't know, this is painful for me. I so much like our other skills better, you know what I mean? The attack drone and turret. Just slow. I mean, it works okay, like when you're in legendary and stuff like that, because I mean, you like when you're in tight little rooms and stuff like that, but you know, everybody's kind of clumped together. But in open world situations, it's kind of like...
Incoming hostiles detected.
Let's try to get them back closer together. See, like, when it comes to, like, these consumable skill builds, like, I find that you're better off having less damage, but your skills more on the ready. Like, being able to use them more often. Like, more often, less damage means more to me, these builds. Yeah, I don't like this turret as much either. And so... we don't have to run this turret, but it does put out the most damage for what we're trying to do, which is get 3 for sure kills, you know what I mean? But I mean, I feel like we're definitely better off with our weapon. You know what I mean? That was so much faster to just do that. Wasn't it? Then chasing these fools around you, you could be like, oh, I gotta target him. Oh, maybe I got him, maybe I didn't. I did, okay, got lucky. Some people are aces with this, they're crack shots with this. I mean, and you all can be. It just takes a little getting used to, and I don't use it enough. I used to use it a lot back in the day. I remember, you know, The power of it was really nice, especially for legendary. But the point is unlimited seekers, so that's the objective without running hardwired, without doing the whole pick up, drop thing, you know what I mean? Because if we're able to accomplish this, not only will we get unlimited seekers, but we'll also get them at their maximum damage potential. Because we're running all this skill damage and skill efficiency. He's not going to be in range. Well, let me shoot that fence. Oh, that's annoying. All of those seekers missed him. See that? All of those seekers missed him. That is just annoying. Well, let me shoot through that fence. There you go, we got him. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be a tough one. Let's see if we got any good gear first. But so let's see where we are. Maybe it might be, you know what it might be? Actually, it might be the waveform holster, believe it or not. So the waveform holster is nice, but it brings inconsistency to your skills because it's bouncing that 30% skill damage from one to the other, where we might be better off. Well, the problem is we don't have many options. You know,
Supply room access unlocked.
I mean, our option from there for a skill build would be to run a Hannah U piece, but that's just going to give a skill haste. So our other option would be to get rid of well, the other option would be to get rid of this plus Wyvern in exchange for two-piece Gruppo, which would give us a 5% advantage. So a Gruppo is going to give us that 5% advantage. So a Gruppo is going to give us there. So something like this, right? So that's two pieces Gruppos can give us 15% explosive damage. But we're giving up a slot, right? Because we're losing it to crit damage, which we don't need. So we'd be definitely actually losing damage on that, even if we're losing consistency. I don't know. This is a tough one. Yeah, you might be right. I was thinking about that earlier too. I was like, oh, you know, like the hive placement. Let me see that. Undertaker is suggesting a BTSU gloves. Also because at least we're also getting an overcharge with that, huh? Which is also handy. I'm gonna have to run to the White House. Grab the rest of this gear in case there's some hidden treasures, which is probably not. There's not. No hidden treasures today. Okay, so let's try that. Let's try the. I'm not sure we're gonna need the BTSU gloves, but they're nice to have. I agree with the skill refresh and the overcharge possibility. You were getting 5 mil on the. Yeah, I believe that sounds about right, Derek. Because on the sticky bomb, I was getting like 4.45 million. Tiago Sampaio, what's up, brother? Yeah, good point. Like when you interact with your skill, the only thing is that comes with the rigger set, so I'd have to run a 4-piece rigger set. But I don't think it works with. Well, it should work with the artillery turret. But let's see if I have my BTSU gloves in here. I do. But my backpack is full somehow. Badger, no. Okay, let's try. Because the one thing about the hive is that our refill speed is way down, which is nice. But it's going to give us the overcharge, which might be enough to, you know, every 60 seconds between that and the 3 kills. Let me put on the right hive, I guess. That'd be smart, right? And it killing itself, that might be enough because it's also killing, right? So it's killing and we can bust it. So, you know what I mean? So it's like kind of got a couple of things that might give us an advantage there. So let's give this a try. Now, when you test things in the testing range, everything, it's too perfect of a scenario, so that's also why I'm not testing in there. What up, Billy Butcher? Doing good, man. Thanks for joining us. Oh, Dragon? Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. He's saying change the... saying use the I think it's called skilled. Is that the one that it is? I think it's skilled, right? Gives you skill haste if you're killing cover. Drop that back. But I think the idea is like to have, if we get the kill, then they should be popping up, refresh, giving us an instant refresh. But that relies on you getting 3 kills, right? But that's a good idea. I mean, the idea in a perfect world, I'd run no skill haste, so skill haste wouldn't even be part of the picture, except for the BTSU gloves, I guess, on this setup. Ooh. Shit. That was unexpected. I wasn't paying attention either. I wasn't even looking up. Okay. So the only thing with this is, I think to get the most out of it, we're going to want to play nice and tight, right? There we go. So we got our skills back at that time. Look at that fire grenade. Perfect throw. Right on me. So I'm gonna go to overcharge. There we go. That gives us our skills back. So let's see. What in my radius? I wonder if they bleed to death, if it's gonna give us credit for the skill. If it gives it the bleed. Huh, we got it back again, so that's consistent. Let me pick up my hive. Let's see if we can get that hive. Ooh, nasty little turret. It's not bad. Let's see here. Come on, give me that kill. Give me that kill. Little bit of waiting. Kind of working though. Let's see if we get this back here. I'm curious if it's going to count the bleed. I don't think it's going to count the bleed as a skill kill. So one part is like I'm not getting too much shooting, which isn't helping my case because I'm missing out on all that skill damage because of that. Oh, big heavy boy coming. Let's run for our lives. So do this, now I'm gonna bust my hive, use my overcharge. Ooh, big boy. Drop my skills. See if we get a couple of kills out of this. Get rid of this guy. I think we're in a better position because that overcharge is helping at least every couple of minutes, right? I have a feeling Grupo's gonna make a play here, though. Let me see here. So we got the... Oh, we have to get rid of Empress. We might have to get rid of Empress to make this work. That sounds funny, right? But I think that... I mean, like the skill efficiency, maybe we don't need skill efficiency, you know what I mean? Like, because we're just going for... We just gotta have that damage, and we need to maximize it. So getting rid of that skill efficiency for... I don't know if this makes sense. I'm just sort of thinking out loud here. But like getting rid of the skill efficiency for the explosive damage out of Grupo might be better suited. Coming right for me. Look at that. They have all these targets and they're coming right for me. So we gotta, so work there. Busting my hive. Yeah, I don't know. Not coming back, are they? Not unless we force it, right? With the overcharge. I mean, sometimes you get lucky and you'll get like you'll get them back to back, but again, like, you know, for me it's that reliability. Like I really like having reliability. You need to count on it, you know. Might be a tall order for this. Might not be possible. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it one of those things? If there's a will, there's a way. So I'm thinking like, so normally I would say I'm kind of on the whole wave length of like, if you're gonna run Empress, run 3 pieces or don't run it at all. But we have to run 1 because of the perfectly skilled chess piece talent. But we don't need any other skill efficiency because we only need skill damage. Now skill efficiency includes that. So by running 3 pieces, we get the skill damage plus skill efficiency. But I guess what I'm saying is like, does it make sense to run instead somehow 2 pieces of Grupo? So we got it back there. So we got our skills back there. Somehow. Got it back twice. That's nice. Some of it's going to be luck-based. I realize that too. That aside, I mean, I guess what we're saying is like, we just need to get 3 kills consistently. Here come the rogues. So here's one of the situations where it's not going to work, right? Like when you're fighting rogues, it's kind of like you're not going to get 3 kills for sure.
Rogue agent detected. Rogue blinder firefly detected.
This guy's going to be launching arrows at me the whole time. Are they coming in?
Rogue striker drone detected.
Nasty little striker drone. Might as well use all this ammo. His friend isn't joining the fight. His friend is out there in the hallway. Super 9271. What's up, man? Peace and blessings to you and everybody in the Ukraine. Oh shit. That is not feeling good. A drone back there. Came out of nowhere too. There it is. You don't scare me. Perfectly calculated. Thanks, Dragon. Yeah, I was trying to remember the name. That's the one. I'm trying not... I mean, I know... I mean, you're probably right. It would make sense for this. Because we get a kill... Between that... I mean, maybe we should... It's worth the try, huh? I gotta double check to see if I even have it. I might have it in my stash. The other thing we could check is like also by putting on, let's finish off this rogue and then. The other thing we could check is like by putting on things like damage to armor, damage to targets out of cover. You know, I have to remember though which works with what. So I think damage to targets out of cover does work for explosive skills. Anybody remember if that's the case? For sure. I'm going off of memory and I question it. The overcharge is handy though, because when I get that overcharge, I get those skills back every time. Following him around with this hive is kind of ridiculous though. You know what I mean? I'm gonna chase you over here, and then I'm gonna throw it over there, and then I'm gonna chase you over here, and then I'm gonna throw it over there. You know. He's almost dead though. See these explosives to finish him off. Sort of why I'm not a big fan of these. I actually see the hives more as a defensive thing, you know what I mean? To keep people from rushing you. Oh, that wasn't worth it at all, was it? Alright. So let's try that. Let's try that. Maybe the combination between what... Tiago... Well, this set came out after Hardwired. I think that's what you're saying. But you might be right. It might not be. But I remember when the set first came out, which was about a year ago, I think now, right? When the set came out, people were like, yeah, it's OP. You get unlimited skills. It's da-da-da-da. And I was like, you know, and I never really ran it because I was just like, okay. But because at the time I wasn't really into Empress. And then, you know, Empress kind of grew on me over time. But I remember people saying that it worked. And maybe they did nerf it, but they were like, oh, you never have skill cooldowns ever. Look. But, you know, they were probably just showing this, like, situational situations, too. And it wasn't facts, right? So, but you might be right. Like, it might not be possible. We might have to run what Dragon is saying, too, that we got to get... Oh, yeah, good point. We got to get kills... The cooldowns, it's a combination of sometimes it working plus getting the cooldowns from the backpack talent too. So I'm trying to find the backpack talent. Actually, it might be over here in my mailbox. I use my mailbox for stash space. You see that? There it is, the battery pack, perfectly calculated. So kills from cover. Reduce skill cooldowns by 15%. So it might be the combo, right? Like you gotta, like, because it's not gonna kick in every time. So if we put on this backpack, we're gonna lose damage, which is also taken away from our kills. But at least when we get a kill with our gun, that's clearing some skill haste for us as well. Kills from cover, so skill, yeah, so he might be onto something here. Let's do that. To get rid of the Hasbro, I'll put on skill damage. And then, because we're doing that, then I'm gonna, since we're gonna be relying on skill haste too, then I will drop my skill haste mods on. I almost wondered, you were making me wonder though, if we want to get rid of perfectly skilled in just one tag team. That's what this makes me wonder. Is anybody else wondering that? You know what I'm saying? Like, do we just run tag team? Okay, so which Empress has got to go? I guess this one. What are we gonna run? Wyvern. Okay, let's see if I got a Wyvern holster. Wyvern holster, where are you? Could run two-piece Grupo too. Let's see, yeah. Oh, okay, do I have a Wyvern mask? Yes. Okay, so if I'm ever in mass, and I'll put the Chinese. There. I mean, you got some rerolling to do. Okay, so recal the mask. Put skill haste. And then reroll the knees. Put in some skill damage. Alright, let's see if this works out better. Let me reset the control points. Okay, that's working. Let's put on the skill haste mod. Okay, cool. So let's see where our skill cooldown is anyway. So it's at 23 seconds, which is cut that down a lot as it is. So and then we have overcharge to fill in the gap. So let's see if that works, huh? Do this thing. Okay, so let's try. Yeah, continuously break the hive. Is like we're talking about Undertaker. Gotta remember to continuously break the hive. All right. Let's see. I think we're making a little bit of progress though. I mean, this is gonna do something because we shaved off so much from our skill haste that, I mean, our cooldowns that even if we're not getting those 3 kills back to back, we're just with the backpack talent. It's gonna shave so much off of our skill haste that it's gonna kind of almost artificially feel like we're getting that over and over again. So we did get our skills back there. So now you don't want to waste them on one guy though. So let me. Ooh, there's a bunch of guys here for us. So I gotta remember to stay in cover too. That's the other trick to this, right? Not hard for skill build. Not hard at all, right? Especially when they're throwing grenades and everything at you. See, we got, yeah. This is probably what I think the right formula. See that? Our skills just came back again. I haven't had to use an overcharge yet. So now I'm going to. Let's get the overcharger now. That guy is irritating me in the back. I gotta move. He's irritating the fuck out of me. Yep, this is way more consistent. This might be the formula. Good job, boys. Undertaker and Dragon, good tips. Both of you guys. Now we'll just have to figure out how to.
Immediate medical assistance needed.
The trick is the hive. I mean, the hive is a little, you know. I mean, it's just, see, like the hive is kind of got me killed right there because I had to go get my hive. But I guess to your point, like I think maybe that's what you're trying to say. Who was that was saying that? Undertaker, I think that was you saying that too, which is like just break it, right? Don't go get it. I think that's what you're trying to say, wasn't it? Now that I think about it, that makes sense. Putting it in context, just break it. Don't go get it because it gets you killed, right? Gets you killed. Have to go and fetch it. See right there, it's doing nothing, right? It's doing nothing. But the fight, the thing is, the fight is, the territory for the fight is bigger. See, it got me killed. It almost got me killed again, right? Almost got me killed again because I had to go fetch it. It's the same situation right here. I have to go fetch it, right? It's because it's not killing anybody, so it's not active. Basically, it's dormant right now. So, and they run in and out of the circle, so it's all it's doing is keeping people away from me. But anyways, my point is, I think that was your point, which was just like, but yeah, see, we're getting our skills back, so that's the only nuance of the build. And so let me ask this question to you guys or anybody else that's out there. What would be our alternative for this to work without the hive? Would it be the Firefly? The Burster Firefly? You know, throwing the little explosives on everybody? And or is that not fast enough either? So we got our skills back again, so that's nice. We just threw them out, we got them back again. Let's get him to come back into our little circle of love. Welcome to the circle of love. Alright. So we got our skills back again. See that? Yeah, so this is definitely more. So we definitely improved. It's not perfect, but it improved. You know, having to overcharge as a backup. But see, it's kind of annoying having to hunt them to kind of run and drop off your hive and then chase them down. I mean, that's how the hive works, so it's the way it works, but that's just kind of why I never use it, I guess. And so I guess the alternative that I'm looking for is not so much that it's because this isn't working. This is absolutely working with the hive. It's just that if you're not a hive fan like me, I'm not much of a hive fan because of this. You know. What would you do?
Immediate medical assistance needed.
This guy back here, huh? Same guy. Hit him with a couple of grenades to his ass. Just to let him know that we're here. And then run away like pansies. Yeah, but I'm liking the frequency in which we have these things. It's not perfect. It's not like 100% of the time they're up, but it's up there, right? I don't know. At a good rate to say that I think we're accomplishing what we've set out to do. I think it's mostly for preference, I think, comes from here, which is like, how do we do this without the hive? So, and I'm sure you guys are answering me right now. I just focus on these last few guys here. Maybe it's tag team. You know, maybe we run tag team with on top of perfectly calculated. We should at least try it, huh? All you have to do with tag team is damage the enemies. You don't have to kill them. I think that's a worthy Who the hell is shooting at me from back there? Oh my god, that's so annoying. Look at where he's at. He's got a horrible angle on me. Look at where he's at back there. Most annoying NPC ever. And that turret in the back over there. Like, give me a fucking break. See, the problem with being impatient like I am is that I don't get the benefit of perfectly calculated when I'm running around like that, right? So I want to make sure I'm in cover before the kill happens. That same turret back there is just slaughtering me. I mean, it's wailing on me and it's so far away. I can't do anything about it. Then this guy stands me up so I get more turret action. Because I wasn't getting enough. Yeah, that fucking stupid. Look at him beating me to death. Look at him. What an asshole. Pick me up, man. Yeah, that's a good point, Undertaker. Like, I think maybe it might be worth taking off the chest piece, actually, and just kind of rolling all in to the, you know, going into the skill haste side of things, really, right? Instead of skill refresh by kill, because that's the inconsistent part. You're always putting out damage. That's consistent. Getting the kill is sometimes you're not. So if we do something like even a sticky bomb with the Seekers, then we're always putting out damage. But the backpack requires a kill, doesn't it? Isn't calculated kill? Killing anybody. So it's almost like, yeah, you could run a turret on top of it. Let's try that. Let's try that. Let's try changing that up real quick. Maybe it's a chest piece that's just not that amazing. Let's see here. So I have Wyvern. I know I have that. So here we go. Wyvern with tag team, skill haste, and then I'll run skill damage there. That should do the trick. And you wonder why I save all of these pieces. See you later, peeling a banana. Thanks for hanging, man. Okay, and then I'll run skill haste. So just try to get these skill hastes all the way down. Okay, and then let's get rid of the Wyvern mask. And then what do we need? I guess another Empress. Really? I don't have that. Okay. Actually, I might get rid of these gloves to try this out. Because I think I'm going to try... I mean, I would like it to be another consumable skill. Like the burster. Let me see, what does the backpack say? Does it say kills, right? It says kills from cover reduce. So, that means we're going to want to swip over to our capacitor, I think. We're going to be doing more shooting. So it looks like we have the right setup. Let's go see how our skill is fans out here. Okay, so ultimately we're at 23 seconds, so about the same, but tag team is going to bring that down a lot. It's going to do a lot of work to bring that down. So, so we need to figure out what our other skill is. What do you guys think? We can do a turret. That's going to constantly put out damage. We can do a sticky, 14.5 seconds, which isn't bad, actually. 14.5 seconds sticky. Let's try that. It might not be enough. It might not be enough because we might find ourselves in between skills. Let's give it. It might be enough, though. because you can only realistically deploy a skill so many times, right? Before it becomes, you know, where your cooldowns, it doesn't really matter. Like, so if you get your cooldowns like to about 10 seconds, then you can, that's about right, you know, for as long as it takes you to acquire your target and then grab your skill, use the skill, you know, that's, you know, ends up being about 10 seconds. So if you end up getting your skills down to about 10-second cooldown, then that's enough. So I didn't think between tag team and calculated, we were going to be around there. Yeah, I'm just going to try to, I'm trying to run it without the hive. Not just because there's anything wrong with the hive, it's just, it doesn't suit my playstyle very well. Definitely works for the whole overcharge thing, there's no doubt. That's like the way to go. And that setup worked. It did work. It worked, actually. And so I just want to try playing this in to see if it works even better. So I guess, but also that worked. I guess what I'm really saying is like, how do we work around not using the hive? That's my challenge. And that's mostly a preference thing, because I'm just not a big fan of the hive myself. So we got a kill there. So look at our cooldown. It went down to 3 seconds, so that's nice. So that worked. Let's see if we can keep that up. There's a target way back there. Oh, come on. Really? Oh, what are the odds? He knew I was going to run back there? I mean, that's just bullshit. I was coming for this target. See him with the skull? I need to finish these guys because they're going to peck at me from the rear, and that's going to be annoying. Yeah, this is actually, I think, going to be the better route. Not talking about the skills, I'm talking about the talents. It's too situational, requiring the kill to get the refresh. Because if your skills aren't available, then you're not going to get the kill, right? And there's no guarantee that you're going to get that kill. That's situational, because the situation is the NPC. That's the variable, right? You don't know if you're going to get a chunga, you don't know if you're going to get a boss or a couple of rogues, but all of those scenarios are going to dictate whether you get your refresh back or not. I think there was a guy down there, right? Set him on my radar. So look at our cooldown. So I almost got the gun back again. You see that? It's back. Tag that enemy. Shave some time for our turret. See, this is working. I think this is the better setup. The only downside about the Seekers is that they spread out so much that for your tag team, whoever your tag team marked enemy is, you don't know where they're going to be at, right? They might be right in front of you. It could be a mile down the road. You know? See, like, it's that purple guy back there. So now I got to go and fetch the purple guy. So that's not tag team. The problem is the skill, because the skill runs, right? That's okay. This is working though. Look, we got our skill back again. This is definitely better than that chest piece. Gotta remember to stay in cover when you're getting those kills though. Yeah, so there we go. We got our skills back again. So it's nice. This is nice. This is fun. What's really nice about the backpack, and which Dragon mentioned, was that it doesn't matter if you get that kill with your gun or not, or your skill, right? As long as you're getting it. Did you see that guy Superman that shit right there? That was hilarious. He totally Superman that shit. Oh my god. Oh man. I wish I had my instant replay working. That was funny as shit. He literally Superman that. Like plank style, everything. Nosedive. So you see the problem though? It's the skill is gonna spread out and damage a bunch of people. Look, we got our explosive back already too. That is nice. That is nice. Jesus, we're a little on the squishy side though, no doubt. Look how much, yeah, he was firing at us. Everybody's firing at us, and throwing grenades. So yeah, we're usually within a few seconds of our skills at all times, which is nice. So as soon as this is done shooting people, then we got our sticky explosive. So that's perfect. Oh, I missed that shit. When you miss though, that's painful. Not gonna lie. Wasting the skill. It's like throwing shit away. You know what works well for that actually? Oh yeah. So I'm gonna change over to the test subject as a primary. Oh, I don't have my other one. The Sweet Dreams, right? Instant kill, right? Instant kill. And that's gonna get us back our against the non-elites, of course. It's got the non-elites. There's too many of these heavy machine gunners right out here. They're really annoying, right? Gotta find an angle. Look at him. Oh, he's like perfect at finding me. You know what's also cool is the sticky bomb will take the tag team, will proc tag team for you too. Because the impact is considered weapon damage. You gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? You gonna get his angle? Nope. You got it. And both their skills are back. You see that? That's nice. Let's see if I can tag this guy in the face. What do you say? Got him. This is a combo. So it needs tweaking though, because I want to see if we can like improve it further, or more importantly, you know, building some survivability. Whoa, fuck! These guys are right there. That fucking scared me. You see that shit? They never come out of that door. I don't know why they came out of there. Oh, it's an elite convoy. Let's say they never come out of that door. We're getting away from there. I don't have many armor kits left. The other thing about calculators is that it takes a percentage of your skill haste off, and the problem with that is that that's a variable that's always in motion, right? Like it takes 15% of 1 second, right? It's a fraction of a second, or 15% of 8 seconds, or whatever. So as long as you're killing a lot, but it does make you wonder how much calculated is working in comparison to tag team. And then you have to ask the question, well, am I just better off running combined arms or something and getting the damage so that I'm killing more or whatever. Let's get this clip here.
Medical assistance needed.
See, the other thing that helps too is the bleed. So when the enemies are bleeding, it'll give you the more than one skull, because the bleed is they're giving you credit for tag team for the bleed on the bleed via the bleed. So you'll see the same target sometimes get the skull. I use tag team a lot, so I find those nuances. I actually use tag team a lot. It's one of my favorite talents. For my consumable skill builds, I almost always run it. Which is why I wish the other one, to be honest with you, I wish the other talent worked out, because that I just use, you know, just to vary it up, just to change it up. Ooh, I missed him entirely. Another heavy machine gunner over there, you see that? This is nice because they're all scattered out, so at least the secret mines are hunting them down. So I think my only complaint right now is that on how squishy I am. And I'm wondering if I could trade that off for some armor on kill. Which I probably think I can now. Like, I think those death grips might come in handy here. Or I could get rid of the demolitionist and run gunner just for the 10% armor and kill. Because it's not so critical I get to kill now as long as I'm putting out the damage. Well, we're sort of critical because of the backpack, right? Calculated is asking for a kill. But look at that. We just have an unlimited skills. This is nice. And the cool thing about this is that we're not overly spec'd into skill haste. We have a lot of skill haste, but we're not overly spec'd into it. Which I can do with my improvised pieces. So we are heavy on the damage side. Dragon, which I'm about to actually call it a night here in a minute after this build, but what talent are you in? I'm sorry, which platform are you on? Are you on Xbox? By all means, you can join me. Fortunately, after this build, I'm gonna call it a night. I've been at this since 4 in the morning. You know that it started today, 4 in the morning, guys. Got up nice and early to get that build video out this morning, or the, look at that, we actually ran out of ammo. Wow, we're doing a lot of shooting. To get that vendor reset video out this morning, and then started streaming on Twitch right after, around 9 a.m. I think. That was a 4-hour stream this morning. That was a lot of fun. You should check that stream out if you missed it. Really interesting build, by the way. That one's like gonna be it's a super off meta. You know, do you guys remember that all status build that I created last week with ongoing directive? You remember that one? All status effects all the time. That one. So it's like that, but it's better. it's a newer version. This is because there's just several different ways you can kind of create that concept. And so I use the ongoing directive way first. And then as I got to know the build better, then I realized maybe these other ones would be stronger, and they're going to be actually different but stronger. So the concept changes. It's not going to be all the status effects. Like, we're not actually no longer applying bleed. But fuck, I got stuck in a phone. And my control point captain's down like a loser. God damn it. That sucks. That sucks. Now I'm going to have to start that over. I don't have to start over, but I want that gear. You never know. It could be good. Oh, good point. No sweet dreams are going to be in cover. Good call, Dragon. Oh, you are on Xbox. Oh, have we played together? We've played together, right? That's right, Dragon. You're VL Jack. I remember. Didn't we do the Legendary together? I should have you. If you're on right now, I should have you on my friends list. Yeah, because I think I was complimenting with your playstyle. I'm pretty sure I added you as a friend, right? Didn't we play? Confirm that. I thought we played together. I'm not seeing you on my friends list, though. I don't know why. Maybe you didn't add me back. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I really enjoyed playing with you. You did a great job in that Legendary. You rotated your builds a lot, and they were all team support builds, and I thought that was pretty cool. And there was well thought out gameplay too, because the way you were rotating your builds was like, oh, that made a lot of sense for him to change to that, and it was really helpful. It was noticeable. Let me get rid of make a couple of rooms, move some slots here to bring a couple pieces in. So I think I'm going to leave this just at a good place for tomorrow. I'm going to walk through the build with you guys where I have it, but I like where this is going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the Sweet Dreams. But you're right, it's not going to work with Perfectly Calculated because you got to be from cover, so that's a good call there. But it'll still help, you know, running in sync, because I'm the capacitor is kind of working. I am shooting a lot, but with the mod situation, you know, because the capacitor has all those crit mods, I'm not making use of those. I'm gonna flop over to test subject. You can go either way though. And the Sweet Dreams just helps. See, the reason why the Sweet Dreams works with consumable skills is because when you're faced with just a non-elite, sometimes it sucks to waste a skill on a non-elite when you can just one-tap them with your Sweet Dreams. And the cool thing about the Sweet Dreams is you can make that decision every 15 seconds, right? So by doing that, you end up saving your skills, which means you don't have as much cooldown because you're not wasting it on a non-elite. So it's just kind of an efficiency thing more than anything, but otherwise it would be nice if it paired up with Perfectly Calculated, but it doesn't. Yeah, the Tormentor build, Gentleman Play, that's right. So the new build that I have, you should check out the Twitch stream. It'll be on replay for, I think, 2 weeks. But it's a better version of the Tormentor. It's got way more damage coming out of it. So it's still the same concept, though. It's still like as many status effects as possible on the enemy, just... it's just not as many. That's not the core emphasis so much anymore. Now it's a little bit more of, now what can we do with that further concept? So for example, with this build, there's no bleed. It's got almost everything but no bleed. And so it's not doing as many status effects, but you have so much more damage. Like I'm almost deciding like, ooh, what do I do with all of this damage? Do I put on more armor cores? Do I, you know what I mean? You got a lot of flexibility to move things around. And then that's why, you know, I asked that question earlier today, like, what would you guys rather have, the strongest build or the most imbalanced build? Because I was faced with the same question on that build. I was like, wow, this one's, I can go this way or I can go that way, you know, super strong. But do I bring in more survivability? So anyways, But so yeah, with these, as I perfect them, then I'll end up creating build videos for you guys with these, how they, the final outcome is. Were we running 2 Wyvern in that whole time? I was, huh? I wasn't paying attention. I didn't change my mask. I thought I did. That's weird. I thought I did. So I guess with this setup, we don't have a choice, do we? We're gonna have to run. I think we're gonna have to run the. Let me see. Let me try. I guess we can put more skill haste. We can always do that. I was gonna say we can run the waveform too. Let's see if I have. Yeah, I should have that. Let me see here. So I have that Empress, which is not the best because it's got armor regen. That's really not, wasteful. That's got status effects too. That's wasteful, so I want to get rid of that. So I can run the waveform. So it's still teeter-totters, which kind of sucks, but it's kind of the best setup for what we got here. But ideally, I'd have a better Empress mask. It's hard to believe I don't have that. What is wrong with me? How do I not have that? See, yeah, the armor regen skill damage, like the skill damage. I mean, I guess I can use that one. I was kind of saving it though, to be honest with you. I was saving it because it leaves the ability to roll armor up there, right? Skill damage, armor regen, and armor. Where I have the version here that's armor regen and skill damage on it. So, but I don't have any choice, so I might just have to move that one over. Where is it? This one. And then roll skill haste on it. Otherwise, I think that's my only option because I don't think I have the knees either. I mean, I got Hannah U, which is just skill haste, but same thing as running to China. Okay, so to China we go skill haste, but we're better off running 1 Empress and 1 China. I just don't like having the armor regen there, so I'm looking for that swap out. So if I put this one here, or maybe I just say fuck it and not ruin that piece, right? Just say, okay, so we got one piece that's not perfect. Let's just do that for now. Because that actually went really well and we didn't have the right setup the whole time. That went really well and we had the wrong setup. I'm obviously getting tired because I wasn't paying attention. So we had a stat. We were running 2 Wyverns, so we were getting status effects out of one of those pieces and we didn't need it. And then I was also running a status effects on the Empress, not by accident, just because we didn't have a better piece. I was running this one. So, okay, let's give that one, this one more shot and see how it does. Appreciate all you guys' help. It's much more fun when you guys are helping. Jimmy DZZ! Yeah, that's true, Diego. That's true. You're right. You're right. Like this, the skill haste is a percentage of 12% skill haste. It is percentages. So the more skill haste you have, the less it means. Which is his point, and it's a good one. You know, if you run survivalist, you get more skill haste by being in cover also, and you get 10%. So you know we could go that way too. It doesn't benefit us in any other way, except for our allies get, I'm gonna reset the control point. Our allies get more damage to status affected targets, and then we get 10% protection from elites. So if you're looking for more skill haste, survivalist is another good way to run too. But I'd rather have the damage in this case. My Twitch account should be feeding. Drop it in the feed, but I'm gonna drop you a link too. Appreciate you following me over there too, my man. Dragon, where are you located? Where in the world are you located? Are you in the U.S. Pacific Standard Time Zone? I know. I thought I added you as a friend. Do you remember if you added me? Well, just let me know if you happen to jump on the next few minutes. But I'm only going to be playing for a few more minutes here. I want to get this build in a good place with you guys. Since it's so much fun. It's actually a fun one. So, but once I get it to the damage part, then I'm going to start tweaking it, you know, and then seeing if I can bring in... Because you see, I can bring in... Like, if I get rid of the China, for example, then I can bring in... like the death grips, right? And put a skill tier there instead, of course. But then I'll get that 10% armor and kill, which will be nice. What's the non-perfect version of calculated give you? Is it 10% skill cooldown or something like that? Or 12%? I think it's 12%, isn't it? The non-perfect version. Because if we decide to go with the non-perfect version, we could also get rid of the Empress backpack, move it around. Because the one thing about the memento is that skill efficiency really helps. Of course, you got to build up to it though. Oh, I missed him. They always get me with that grenade. I think almost every time. Oh, I'm getting my ass kicked by mistakes. It's too early to be using armor kits. Don't irritate me. There's a guy right behind me. Your foe trying to phone me. He caught on fire luckily though. Oof. They are getting hit harder now. I saw her lose almost all her life. Yeah. They're getting hit harder now. Yeah, this is fun. It's a good build. Oh, yeah, this is a good build. We're gonna have fun with this one. It did just take a move for the better. Okay, let's get out of this hole. Just gotta remember to take the shots out so you can activate and sync, and that'll make a difference.
Heavily armored hostile detected.
We got that kill. So this little guy is gonna be annoying, of course, because he's pretty tanky. Please don't phone me, please don't phone me, please don't phone me. Oh, you got me. See that that sliver of life I have? That's what I was telling you. That's that little mechanic built into the game. I know most of you guys know that, but if you're new, or if you don't pay attention to that little detail. Sorry, I ran because I heard somebody right behind me. Oh, he's gonna torment me, isn't he?
Immediate medical assistance needed.
Ah, oh, fucking bastard.
Agent incapacitated.
And where's my guys? Where's my allies? Nowhere. I mean, did they just all die? Did they just all run away? This is the bullshit I'm talking about, guys. Arnell, what's going on, brother? Creating some good builds, man. We have fun. Quite a journey. Oh, this is bullshit. I guess we're gonna have to call it on this one, huh? That's bullshit. Every fucking time, man. I swear to God, they're the most unreliable fools. Those civilians. That was definitely an improvement to the build, though. Yeah, I'll take a look here in the second Dragon. I know I added everybody that was in the squad last time. I don't know why I don't see it in your list. Maybe it's just because you weren't online and it doesn't have you as a preferred friend yet. I'll take a look in a second here. Yeah, I backed myself in a corner, but we had it. I just needed to land one more shot with that sticky bomb and he would have been down. He's really annoying. Like, I prefer to take him down with a nice DPS build so I can blow up that little explosive pouch in his backpack. Let's see. I know I added you. Huh. What's your with VL something, wasn't it, Dragon? Let me look. You look it up. You said it here a second ago. You said VL Jack, right? Okay. Yeah, there you are. Yeah, I remember following you. Say add friend. But apparently I didn't. Maybe I just invited you to the party and forgot to add you as a friend, I guess. Cool, but I'll catch you next time, man, for sure. Okay, so let's take a quick look at where we're at with this build. I think those last few changes made a world of a difference. So this basically is a very low cooldown. It's so low that in all reality, it's basically a net zero cooldown because by the time you're ready to use the skill, the cooldown has been eliminated. So, but officially there is a cooldown. It's just really low. And it's built off of two things. Really, we built it around perfectly calculated. And the reason why is because we started with the Empress named chess piece, Caesar's Guard, with perfectly skilled. Now, what ended up happening is we found that perfectly skilled was too situational. Like, not only was it not always working because we weren't always getting the 3 kills that we needed with either skill. And so it was just like we found ourselves waiting for those secret mines to come back too long. Waiting too long for those secret mines to come back. But it's just really situational from the get-go, right? Like, what if it's just you and a Chunga? Or what if it's just you and 2 rogues, right? Then you're not getting kills. And then you have a waste of a talent just all around. You know, the talent is taking a nap on you, basically, right? So it was really working against us all the way around. Now, we added perfectly calculated, and that made a world of difference. And then eventually since I was making a world of difference, we added on to that by bringing tag team into the picture also. So between tag team and perfectly calculated, it was bringing our cooldowns really, really low. And then we have all our skill efficiency because we're running 3 pieces of Empress, of course, and then we got skill haste as all of our mods too to help even further. So really nice setup. Definitely powerful, no doubt. Only takes a few bullets to finish somebody off after they get hit by one of the seekers. So, yeah, I mean, you can guess skill haste, skill damage, and everything. And then we got 1 piece China, 1 piece Wyvern with tag team. Backpack is perfectly calculated. And then 3 piece Empress, basically all the same. This one's got armor regen, but skill haste would be better, but whatever. And then decided to go waveform. Because why not? Your other option from there would basically be either a second China or a Hannah Yu. So you're better off running waveform. You're going to get more damage out of it, even if it's teeter-tottering. But that's okay because you're using both of these all the time anyways. So you want to run the Sweet Dreams because what I've learned is that instead of wasting a skill on a non-elite, you can just bop them out of the way. So and you can do that, you can make that decision every 15 seconds, right? So just make sure you don't take a lot of incoming fire when you do it, right? That can happen. Don't make sure you don't have a long jog over to him because he's going to shoot you on the way in there. But anyways, if you got somebody coming in on you, just bop them with the gun, you save yourself for skill, save yourself cooldown, basically, right? And then so because that's an exotic, my other weapon is the test subject, 40% more skill damage. And you're not doing a lot of shooting, you're doing enough shooting, but not like you would be for the capacitor. So I do like the test subject more with consumable skills because it's easier to maintain because it only takes one bullet. So from here, you know, I think what we do is I would need to find alternate pieces, but we look at, you know, possibly bringing in like the death grips or something like that to bring in some armor on kill. Or how much skill haste can we back out and bring in more armor regen, right? Do we run the technician instead and get 30% more skill damage instead of the explosive damage? But by doing that, we bring in an armor core. You see, so these are questions that we can ask. And so without losing all the benefits that we have here, how do we bring in more survivability? And that's going to be in session 2. I don't have those answers today because it's going to be tweaking. But I think it'd be good to get in some, either get rid of all the skill haste and roll in some armor regen and then bring in technician so that we can add an armor core which is going to power the armor regen. So in order to do that, I'm going to need a variety of pieces that I don't already have. So... or maybe I do, actually. Because I think I do have a lot of Empress with armor regen on it, because that's actually a really nice combo. But anyways, for now, I'm not going to go digging around. Let's look at the skills. And so remember, the damage is inconsistent because of the waveform holster, which is going back and forth. But at the moment, it's saying 6.1 million. I don't know if that's on the high or the low. And then we got 3 millions on the cluster, which is a really nice place to be. Now, these are tier 6s, so keep that in mind. So, and then we're running Demolitionist for that additional explosive damage. So this is a really good build. I think it landed at a really good place. It's basically no cooldown on those Seeker Mines, which is really hard to do. Now, you can run, you know, the whole, you know, get tricky with the hardwired set to do that. But by doing that, you lose out on so much damage, right? Because you're running a gear set, a gear build set, and you lose slots and whatever, all just to have that bonus. What was I going to look at? Oh yeah, Demolitionist. So I want to see how much explosive damage we're getting out of the explosive ordnance. 10% increase explosive damage. So 10% explosive damage when we go this way, right? However, if you run Technician, you get 30% skill damage, right? You get 10% here, and then basically 20% by running the skill tier. Is that right? Isn't that 20%? Let's take a double look. So it is 20% damage, yeah. Is that right? No, the 10% increases. So 10% damage per skill tier. So it says different depending on your skill, right? So Technician is giving us 20% skill damage. So you basically with the skill tier plus the modifier here. So 20% skill damage, or do you want 10% explosive damage? I mean, you would obviously go Demolitionist if you're already at 6 skill tiers, but if we want that armor regen or armor on kill to mean something, they're going to want to bring in an armor core. And so if we do that, then we're going to want to run Technician to make up for the lost skill tier. But on top of that, we're going to net benefit more damage output because we're going to get 20% skill damage instead of 10% explosive damage. So there's that. Anyway, so these are things I will toy with tomorrow. I will be doing another live stream tomorrow. I'm not sure if it'll be more on this build, but if it is, then I will make sure you guys are along for the ride. But either way, when these builds are finalized, I will be putting out full-on build videos. Dark G, good morning. Destroyer of Words, Professor Beam, welcome to the stream. And with that, I am signing out. But I appreciate all you guys' help. That was a lot of fun. I hope you guys had fun too. Peace.
Tuxedo out.